after.
Midnight.
To the range, I'm not changing.
No, man, why would you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's like, you know, little camo hat.
Hell yeah, brother.
It's not my typical look, but like I really think posty is.
Well, I mean, you're
really
comfortable in the
cool.
overalls, though, for sure.
Oh, it's like I could live in them, dude.
Yeah.
See, I don't think I've ever put on a pair of overalls in my life.
You should.
They're comfy.
And I work outside for a living. Everybody tells me to get bibs. I do pipe fitting and welding and shit. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, to get bibs. I'm
Well,
like,
here's the thing: you can free ball in overalls because you don't have to worry about them falling down.
Mhm.
It's true.
As long as your straps are all good, and they're usually. I've never had a strap come loose. You know,
Yeah.
it's impossible to be pants.
Yeah, true.
So you can free ball in them, dude.
there's
You
it.
can
It
work
sounds like
in
you're dude, are you a spokesperson for them?
them.
You got Liberty on your side?
Liberty
Yeah.
overalls. No, dude, Liberty's the best though. These are vintage. I picked them up at a vintage shop.
Oh, no shit?
But yeah, like I paint in them. You know, if I got to paint or something, I have my
Yeah.
paint overalls. I got my show overalls. These are kind of my show overalls.
Are they always Liberties?
Both pairs I have are Liberties. Yes, I saw my old farmer Jim was wearing Liberties, and he swore by it. You know, he worked out at my parents' place around in Nolensville, and he'd always stop in and chat us up. And his accent was so thick, like Southern, you could barely. It was like Greenbrier. You know, talking about man, we got good moonshine. You want some elderberry moonshine? We got elderberry. He's got my old Macadoo.
Dude.
Must have bleeped that part out there because that's real moonshine. But he didn't understand what I was saying anyhow.
Yeah, right.
But no, he always wore overalls, and I was like, you know, I didn't wear them much before I moved here. I've been here for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah?
Tennessee's definitely gotten into my blood.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a good little spot to be, man. I used to want to move away, and the older I get, I'm like, why would I?
Tennessee's beautiful.
It is.
Even the drive.
Especially if you get out and go see it. You know, if you just stay in
Yeah.
Murfreesboro your whole life, for sure, it's
Yeah.
depressing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of greater Tennessee that's amazing, and
Yeah.
you know, Nashville. That's why I live in you know, just outside of Nashville. It's you know, I used to live right on the east side, and now we're just right out in a little suburb, and it's really nice because I can still go in downtown, play my shows, get to the gigs quicker.
Yeah.
So as a working musician, like I really want to move to the country so bad.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, you know, those 40-minute commutes or 30-minute commutes, you know, they add up, and it's so great for me to just feel like I'm like 15 minutes
Right.
from City
Yeah.
Center, Broadway.
Yeah.
But you don't have to deal with it every single day walking out of your house and it's nothing but traffic.
Yeah, still a nice little suburb, you know.
Yeah.
We did trick or treating and stuff in the little area, you know,
That's
and
fun.
with the fam, and it's super cool, man. But I can still get like kind of out of the city, get the East Nashville vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking for houses in East Nashville, but God knows, like now it's really not the time to
Dude,
buy.
it's so insane
to
how
buy
expensive
anything.
the market is, man.
Yeah, I might wait a little bit, wait it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Then
I'm still trying to save up for that big down payment, man. That's what I haven't even used my first home time buyer yet, but I'm like,
I'm right there with you, man. You know, everyone's like, you know, someone commented on they thought I like own a house in Nashville. We rent in
Right.
Nashville.
Yeah.
And someone commented on one of my TikToks or whatever, and they were like, oh, I can't wait till I can afford a house in Nashville. I was like, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think on the market, I have a realtor buddy who's kind of took on some stuff for me. He was just like, you know, the cheapest, and it's like major fixer-uppers is like $400,000, $500,000.
Sounds right. Yeah.
dude, I was looking at apartments in Nashville the other day just because, like, I play with the idea of buying an apartment. Dude, I romanticize downtown Nashville all the time.
Yeah.
Until I go to downtown Nashville, I'm like, I could die. Oh, there it is. There's the clap. Go ahead and equalize everything.
Yeah. I just figured, you know.
400 square foot, dude. $375,000. I was like, I could touch both walls in the house at one time.
I know. It's not as bad as like, you know, New York or
No,
LA and
yeah.
stuff. I had buddies that moved to LA and they'll either move right back after a couple.
Yeah.
Well, not right back, but after a couple of years, they'll move back to Tennessee
Yeah.
or try Texas or New York.
Well,
And-
everyone's just coming here from all the coasts
Yeah.
anyway. Like,
Yeah.
especially like, well, I worked in film a bunch before we kind of started doing this.
Yeah.
And that was like something that kept happening. Like every set I would be on, somebody would be like, "Oh yeah, well, moving here from Cali because tax incentives for doing like feature films in Nashville, and then also they could sell a condo there and pay for a full house here."
Yeah, there's like an exodus. I just, you know, I mean, I'll just be frank. Like my buddy moved out there and he had two motorcycles stolen, not one, and his catalytic converter taken out of his truck, which everyone knows is super expensive, and that was all within a matter of 2 years. And it's like that's a major setback for a young actor. You know, he's gotten Samuel Walker, my buddy. He's gotten some, you know, films with like Denzel Washington and stuff.
Man, that's really cool.
Yeah, he's like going for it, you know,
Right.
and they just and again another person I know that kind of like made the exodus from California and trying out different things. I mean, I like LA, but I don't love LA. Like I could never wrap my head around it. I've gone and rode out there with my friends, and it's fun to visit. But like I don't think as a country boy coming from the Amish people in Pennsylvania, then spending most of my adult life here. In the country, and I lived when I first moved here. I was in Nolensville too, so like that was like actually country, and I still long for that. I don't think I could ever do like New York or LA because like Nashville's kind of a town,
right?
Still kind of a town,
yeah.
But I mean, Germantown. I was there the other day. I went for a photo shoot, and they're building like a city over there. So we're back where they called it New City, literally. I think they call it New City or New Town or something.
Yeah.
And it's back by all the factories, and they have completely built up this, like, dude, I'm talking 4 or 5 blocks.
Yeah.
And I had never seen that. And I walked in and I was like,
what is this? This isn't
but it was cool. I was stoked. I'm like, wow. I mean, you can't be mad. People get mad about old Nashville. Like, oh, old Nashville. You're like, okay. Build a time machine then.
Yeah, dude, I mean, listen, you got to be able to expand, right? I mean, we got more people coming here and everything. You got to be able to improve the infrastructure and whatnot. Plus, I don't know what they're complaining about because, more people moving here kind of sucks to a degree for the housing market and whatnot.
All around.
Dude, I mean, like I work in the trades, dude. We've got more work than we know what to do with because it's nothing but buildings going up, man. I mean,
100%.
we are really growing.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the best parts about the town. Like, do you want to be in a town that you complain about it growing in cranes or whatever people complain about in today's time? Or do you want to live in a town that's dying? Because where a town that's dying, it becomes a ghost town.
Well, everybody romanticizes that, though. Everybody loves thinking about, back when Nashville only had a few stoplights and there were still farms surrounding it. Like, everybody thinks, but, like, in reality, man.
20 years ago, you had to shoot your way through Germantown.
Hey, in all reality, the flood took out old Nashville.
I think it did.
In my mind. I mean,
it did.
Once the Gibson
it's hard to bounce
factory
back from it.
So the initial Gibson factory, that was, what did that go in that flood?
Yeah.
They have a new one. I forget where it's at. I went over to that Gibson. I was actually thinking about working at Gibson just about 2 years ago, doing factory work. Nothing wrong with that. But fast forward to now, and I'm like a Gibson artist. It's so weird.
Yeah. It's very, very different side of the coin.
Yeah, I'm like, I would have totally done it and but you make like one part every day, and you have, and those guys specialize on it, and I'm like, I'm not much of a woodworker. Like, I went for a...
Have you ever done like luthier stuff?
No, I'm bad. I'm like bad. So I did construction for a while, but mainly like I'm the demo guy,
I'm good at destroying it and ripping it out in pieces.
I can tear out your fucking walls.
I break stuff real fast.
And this sledgehammer, we'll see what happens.
So
we'll remodel this.
But man, no, like, I mean, making cuts, I can build minor stuff, but for me, man, I did tree work in Nashville, like after that tornado. That's how I got my first tree job in Nashville. I was like looking for work. And changing jobs right then, and I saw this one guy. Swear to God, dude, saw these tree guys. And one dude had a fucking eye patch.
Yeah.
I was like, these guys look hard.
Yeah.
And and we're like cutting up trees. It was right after the tornado. Like all the guys who did chainsaw work, I've done tree work before that. Whatever. It's very dangerous, so I got out of it. But
I'm sure
makes money, and. I remember, like, going out there with all the boys. My dad was there. The whole community, like, descended upon, like, Shelby Park area, East Nashville. That's kind of where it hit worse. Like, East Nashville. Like, my house at that time was in East Nashville, up off Gallatin, McAlpine, and we just had like bad weather coming in, whooshing through. We didn't think much of it until our neighbors were like, we had a basement, and they were like, can we get into your basement?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Like, we're all like high, drinking, playing music on the front porch. I had my buddies over, having a great time, and it was actually like we had to go down to see it because we kind of couldn't believe it. Like. We got up out of the house and nothing was damaged, barely a couple branches in the front yard. And so I was like, we got to go see.
Yeah.
Because everyone's texting us, are you guys fine? Are you alive? Are you okay?
Yeah.
For days I was answering texts. Yeah. I was like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And, we jumped in the car, man, and we went down, and it was like, it looked like a war zone. Like,
yes.
We were definitely not supposed to be there. Like, we got there, and we were quickly, like, just kind of brought down the reality of like, this is a tragedy.
Yeah.
Stepping over like power lines and shit. Like, I'm pretty sure they cut the power not long after that.
Yeah.
But still, like, I'm like, I don't know. We were like stepping over like power lines and shit. We could smell gas in the air.
Yeah.
So at one point we were passing a building where like we're walking through our city, man. I've been here for, like I said, for 10 years now. Just since last summer, I know it like the back of my hand. We're walking through our city in East Nashville. I'm seeing it in like in pieces. We're just like,
like.
Dude, it's eye-opening, man. How quickly things can be changed. Yeah.
Oh my god, man! And there was that one that happened in the '90s. I guess it took the same path. So I guess if you're watching, maybe don't buy houses. The tornado, because it took both times. It took the same path.
That's crazy.
Dude, we're in Walter Hill, man. Like, so like we're pretty close. Totally. We're like 15 minutes from Walter Hill right now. We're by Jefferson Pike. Dude, tornadoes. That is like Tennessee's Tornado Alley right there.
Yeah, it's weird. You wouldn't think it happens here much, but then it does. But I mean, not much. But a 20-year gap is long enough. We don't need any more than that.
No.
Dude, honestly, it's like the only weather event that genuinely makes me nervous.
Oh yeah,
dude.
Nature scares the shit out of me.
It's so random. Yeah, it is wild.
It's like I'm not really scared of like home invaders.
No,
I have my guns. Like I have my I practice.
You can protect yourself against that. At least you convince yourself you can.
I'm not too scared of Russia and China. I know the United States military kicks fucking ass.
Yes.
I'm not too worried about that kind of stuff. But then, random weather events is like the one thing that like makes my hair stand on the back of my neck.
Dude,
oh shit.
Listen, man. I love storms, but the second they go, hey, we're under a tornado watch, or a tornado warning, or whatever it is, man. I'm on edge, dude. Like I'm now uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can't fight a tornado.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Did you ever see that news article that was like something? I forget which state, but it was like, reminding residents not to fire bullets into tornadoes. They will spin around and come back out.
That's great, dude.
It does not work.
I was like, wow, what state was that? People must have actually been shooting at
tornadoes.
They're coming later.
There it is,
bro.
All right, quick introduction, just so everybody knows who we're dealing with here. All right, so we got one of Nashville's best, old soul from the Wild West, heart that'll make a heart of stone flutter. It's your boy Dylan Smucker.
All right, my guy. Yeah, dude. No, it's me. I'm here, man. I'm chilling. Cheers.
Cheers, dude. We are extremely happy to have you.
Yeah, for real. I'm always happy to chat, man, and just talk about the industry, whatever. Whatever you guys want to talk about. It's always good to make new friends too. You guys seem cool as fuck.
Yes.
So that's,
man, you seem cool as fuck too. Come in here, make yourself at home. That's the type of people you love, man.
Yes. I'm cozy, man.
Yeah, people who are immediately comfortable to be around is a good thing.
It's so much better.
Well, especially for conversation, because we're all about like the natural progression of conversation on the show. So it makes it a lot like I feel like I'm not having to be like, okay, what's the next question? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like super.
And you guys said whiskey, and I was like, all right,
whiskey,
maybe just a little more sazerac back. And I wanted to say that as a way to just thank you guys for being on the program. I did bring you some records.
Oh, dude, I'm so freaking stoked, man! It's such a beautiful record too.
Oh, this is so cool.
It's a great one. I really love this. My buddy Don Bates cut the record for me. He now lives in Ohio and he runs a big old tractor company making equipment and shit.
Nice.
But I do need to sign it. Let me get my gear out.
Dude, I shit you not. One of those will be wall mounted and a part of this set.
Oh, 1,000.
Yeah, I'm trying to one up me with the 1,000%.
Yeah, 100, 1,000. You know what? 1 million.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so excited.
I say words and they come out of my face.
Dude, I do the same thing, man. I'm pretty sure I even messed up the introduction at one point. I think I said heart of flutter that makes a heart flutter. You get it though, man. Listen.
Dog, I love it.
So, dude, I don't want to get too stereotypical with this question. We ask everybody this question, right? But I've got a better way to ask it. So, like,
I know where we're going.
You know where we're going, but I got a better way to ask it. So, you have what I appreciate a lot about your music is you have a sound that is not. You can't fake it, really. So you have the type of sound where you have to be born with it. You gotta feel it. It's not and it's nothing against any creative. Like I'm all for people expressing in whatever form they want, but it's not the cookie cutter standard radio hit.
It's weird.
That's
my favorite compliment, though. It's weird.
Dude, but you got it. So I'm so curious. What did you grow up listening to? Like, what records were you listening to growing up that influenced, that really spoke to you and kind of helped mold and shape?
Man, for me. It was Elvis Presley, and
No way, really?
It was because, and I couldn't help it. I mean, everyone knows the name Elvis Presley, and everyone's got their own opinions. about Elvis Presley, and they're trying to take him, raise him from the dead, and all these videos and stuff.
2 new movies,
and which I do think is about selling more Elvis records. The people who own the, you know what I mean, who own the masters. Like this is a major way for them to make money,
for sure.
Anyway, he's still the GOAT, dude. And for me, it was my grandfather gave me an 8-track player.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, super cool. I don't have it now, which is like the saddest thing. I think I think there was a minor part that broke, and then we gave it away.
That sounds right.
Or put it out by the road for free. But he gave me. My grandfather was kind of like a hoarder, but like without it being like weird. Like,
not to like a gross level.
Yeah, he had it in the garage. He had all this stuff, and he would have all these Elvis 8-tracks, and he would have like. He loved horses because we come from the Amish people, So like my grandparents are Amish on both sides.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah, so we can go into that too. But so I would go to his house all the time, and they were the Amish where like he grew up and.
Was that the only time you got music? Was when you did that?
Well, no, I mean my parents didn't grow up Amish, so.
Oh right, okay. It was just.
So I mean they grew up Amish. I didn't grow up Amish. Let me say that again. So they grew up. In a setting that was pretty much very conservative Amish, like they couldn't have radios, all that stuff. And then what ended up happening was my parents left the Amish because mom got pregnant, and
that will do it.
It's kind of that's kind of like a no-go in the Amish.
Yeah, I've heard.
But man, going back to my grandfather and the 8-tracks and stuff, like he would. He gave me all. He would just give us stuff. We would come over. So he was kind of, like I said, kind of a hoarder, but he wasn't.
Right.
So maybe it's not the right word, but it was like borderline. Like you go in his garage and there was like just tons of stuff.
Yes.
And he'd be like, "You want something?" I'm like 6. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Sure. It's your own personal.
There's that horse right there. Yeah. That horse is sick. So he'd end up giving us tons of stuff, and he was a very sweet old man, and he gave me an 8-track player and a bunch of Elvis. But it was like the good Elvis. It was like the Jesus Elvis.
So like the gospel stuff, like
a lot of the
stuff.
It was like he he kind of picked which. That's the thing about that time period. People like kind of picked which Elvis they liked.
Yes. It's very
like, I don't really like the sexy Elvis. I don't want to listen to the gospel Elvis.
Right. Well, I think you had 3 mainly. You had the mostly women, I feel like, who liked the sexy Elvis.
Right.
Then there was like
driving in a groove, and baby.
Yeah, the guys that liked the gospel Elvis, and then you had the soundtrack people that just watched the Elvis movies.
Yes, which are really great.
They're great. Yeah.
If you want to go down that rabbit hole, man, it's super cool. Like watching all those movies is like great for like hanging out with a lady. I've watched those movies so many times. But it was Elvis in Hawaii, so really getting into the sound. I didn't know that I liked this sound so much until I started to make it, and then it started to come back.
Ooh, that's cool.
Like it started to come back.
Yeah.
And it was because of the Elvis in Hawaii records, that luau feel with the pedal steel. Like for some reason, like pedal steel and lap steel is like associated with like luau, like SpongeBob type vibes.
Yeah.
For real, it's coastal, and so there's something about that lap steel or the pedal steel that takes you to that ocean vibe.
Yeah.
And so for me...
It's so interesting. I'm sorry, not to cut you off. It's just, I've never thought of that before, but you're totally right.
Well, dude, the tie-in for Lilo and Stitch, man.
Right?
Lilo is obsessed with Elvis, and it's
that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's another great movie, dude. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. You want to
What
talk
a
about
classic.
top-tier Disney movies, man.
Yeah, it was like pretty much downhill from there.
Well,
I sold all my Disney stock a while ago.
Well, they were blue chips then.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I mean, I really sold out a lot of my stocks during the pandemic. I mean, I had like a nice like cushion saved up. I was working hard, working on music, working my job, and then of course I was like, I'm not working for 2 or 3 weeks. Like I've got to cash out all out. And I think it was right when like Amazon and everything was making it come up, so it was right before the crash. And I kind of remember I listened to all these economists, and I was like, economists, sorry, whatever you want to say it. And I really pulled out like at the right time. I pulled everything out before the crash, and then started buying again during the crash. And I'm no, don't listen to me for stock advice at all.
Not a financial.
My only stock advice is invest in companies that you believe in.
Right, which is the best advice. Because I mean,
if you're supporting the company, if you have a Black & Decker piece of equipment in your house
that you could appreciate,
or what company is your TV? You know what I mean? Like if you're buying that stuff already, that means you think it's going to be a good company,
right? Or generally, I would imagine people that think the same way you do will also buy the same kind of stuff.
Yes, exactly.
100%.
I'm not a bullish buyer at all. I really am a safe buyer. Like let me get a little bit more out of my dollar, and
it's crazy because you're a musician.
Yeah.
Well, the worst mistake I made during all that, and I still kick myself in the ass for it today, is I had a buddy, he was a guest on the show, his name's Alex Trefan. He takes finances super serious, he's really good at it, he makes a lot of money doing it.
He's smart.
So Moderna, when they first started popping up, he called me and said, listen, you need to buy Moderna, I think they're the top dog in this race.
I thought about it too.
When I bought, they were at like $1.30 a share.
It just kept going down.
I think I only spent like $300 or $400, but I bought all of Moderna, right? And I held on to it for a couple of months, and then a bunch of stuff about Robinhood started to come out about how they were robbing people and cheating, and it was during the GameStop era.
Yeah.
And so I dumped all of it. I sold all of it, and I was like, I'll buy it again through someone else, and I never did. And then the news was like, Moderna's worth $100 a share right now. And dude, I did the calculations and I kicked myself in the ass, man. I was like, I cannot believe I did not rebuy it.
Yeah, I think there's always those things, where you kick yourself, but like
as
long as you're not losing a bunch of money, like never invest more than you're willing to lose.
100%, dude. It's like giving somebody money to borrow.
Yeah, and it's there's those like venture stuff where it's like they call them like meme stocks.
Yeah.
Where it's like people get excited about AMC or get excited about GameStop.
The pump and dump.
And that artificially inflates the stock. It doesn't mean their company's actually worth more.
No, yeah. It's
it just means that there's this hype around it. So you're better off like putting your money into like a CD with your bank account.
Yeah.
Or like a Roth.
Yeah, Roth IRA.
And kind of just investing like a little bit at a time. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, I got as a musician, like I went through all my savings, all of my cash on all my stocks, went down like back to ground zero, literally during the pandemic. And I think it did a lot of that for musicians, because I was actually only doing music before that. I do odd jobs here and there and stuff, and luckily now royalties are able to help me out.
That's good, man. Yeah. Good. You definitely deserve it, dude. I'm not trying to just blow smoke because you're on the show. Like, genuinely, I wanted to have you on the show for a reason, man. Like, we really, like, nothing against other creatives or anything, but when we have someone on the show, it's because we're like, we genuinely are like, we believe in this person. Yeah. We eventually want to be able to build a platform where we it's like if we choose to have somebody on, maybe we can help gain them 500 new viewers.
I like that means something.
Well, dude, the coolest thing is, like, I've thought about doing a podcast before many a times, and it's one of the coolest and just most genuine forms of media.
Yeah,
100%. And it's rapidly growing, and so I kind of go with the idea that like there's always another slice of pie. People think that because this musician in town is making it or whatever, it's taken away from me.
Right. That is such a bad way to look at it.
But it is. But like even with everything, like there's enough for everybody.
Yeah. Do you know how many artists are in my library right now?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, there is. If you're a fan of Dylan Smucker, that doesn't mean, and I'm going to use him because I know that you're friends with him, it doesn't mean that you're not going to listen to Chandler, right? So, you can be a fan of both people.
Yes, and it's the same thing with podcasts. I think that there's like an ever-expanding amount of space for it. And I really think that it's probably the most important piece of media in our era.
Well, it's definitely like the newest advancement in media, I would say, because like, if you go and look at like, I'm gonna blank on his name, which sucks. He was in Annie Hall. He did like a little guest, a cameo thing.
Is he an actor?
Yeah, no. Was a media analyst, basically.
Okay.
A philosopher of media. And what he talked about a lot was just sort of like the application of the media.
Yeah.
And how it could transfer from the initial meaning into something greater with public support and also public participation.
Yeah.
So these medias kind of expand into their Marshall McLuhan, that's his name. They expand into new territory and different territory. This I think is interesting though because it's the first new thing It's not.
It's very new.
Yeah,
it would be like when the printing press came out,
right?
For example,
changed
the world, right?
Literally, and I think that it'll be similar in that way because, like, even if you look at like talk radio or something like that, very different format-wise. This is, I think, podcasts and honestly the whole YouTube format has kind of become like an antidote to loneliness for a lot of people.
100%.
It seems to sort of like
and also loneliness comes from like not being understood.
Yeah.
And not being understood is like, welcome to Channel 4. That's a fucking form of gaslighting, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, everything's fine. And it's going to be great. Have a good night, Los Angeles. It's like, no.
Not everything's fine. If you walked out of your front door, like...
No, like most things are not fine.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think the formal format of, like, corporate media is allowing people to feel connected. This is why our generation is watching less of the Oscars, less of the CMAs. I still watch those every once in a while, so I'm not shitting on them at all. But the views are fucking drastic. Not even drastically, tragically down.
Yeah.
There are artists who don't even show up to the award ceremonies because they know that no one's watching.
Right, yeah. It's just
and
a
it's
joke.
like, you got guys like, everyone wants to plug Rogan. I hate to even say his name. I love the guy. I shouldn't say hate to say his name. But it's like, I don't want to be redundant.
Right.
Yeah. But it's like.
But I mean, he was kind of a pioneer for it too.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, he is like the OG flagship. Yeah.
But it feels reductive to talk about it through today's lens.
Yes, and I think that I think what we need in media, in all art, is relatability.
Yeah.
And so, like, trying to be so, like, fake and, like, that's why I showed up, like, in damn overalls and my hat that I wear every day.
Right.
I might slick my hair up to do shows, but, like, this is what I look like every day.
Yeah.
And I hear people, like, Josiah and the Bonnevilles, he's a guy that kind of blew up on TikTok. And he gave me a guest list to a show that was in town just recently.
Yeah, I saw that posted on your story that you were there.
Such a sweet guy. I was like, man, I know that you only got 50 tickets at the door. Like, is there a chance you could save me a couple? I didn't want to even ask for a guest. It's like, I'll pay for him if you could just, since you're there, just tell the guy at the door.
Yeah, two.
Save two just for me, whatever. He was like, man, I'll give you a +1. And just, come to the show, man.
He seems very humble. Because, like, I keep up with him and whatnot. You know, he seems very, very humble.
Yeah, like, it's weird. Like, there's a new generation of artists a bit that are all kind of connecting through TikTok, which is funny. Yeah. There's like all the viral artists on TikTok are kind of they know each other now. Like, and we're all kind of. I'm not saying all the viral artists. I don't know them all, but there's like a lot of viral artists that went viral on TikTok and now have like a major following because of it.
Yeah.
And it's the greatest thing China ever did.
Right. We were just talking about this a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know why. And I know they control the algorithm and they can change it, but for whatever reason, it worked for me.
Yeah.
I got on the platform last year. I got 500,000 views on a post. I was selling records like faster than I could keep up with. Like I was bringing 50 records to the post office at a time.
So, dude, that is fucking amazing.
And they hated me.
Oh, I'm sure.
They hate.
But that's why I love TikTok, because it's not, when TikTok first started, it was like a spin-off of Musical.ly, but now it's a legitimate tool for musicians and for creatives, and it's a beautiful thing.
If you're not on it, and I'll say frankly, like if you're not on it as a musician, like you're really fucking up, and that's the only way that I can say it.
Yeah.
I don't, like I said, I don't understand how the algorithm works. You just, you might feel things out. Maybe this works a little better. Like I've noticed like captions work, like you need captions.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
We're the damn, our generation is like on the spectrum apparently, but we all need
everybody's on the fucking spectrum.
But when I was a kid, you just called it weird.
Yeah.
It's weird,
Yeah, I tell Grace that all the time. I'm like, dude, if there's a spectrum, everybody's on it. We don't have to make a big deal about it.
And, so I just think, there's certain things that like, and also, I mean, really, at the end of the day, it is actually just about practicality. Some people are watching their phones without the audio on.
Right.
And so
I do that all the
being able to
time.
have, so, for me, like on Instagram and YouTube, like I won't do captions. Like YouTube's not that way. In Instagram, I still just post videos of me singing and playing.
But that's great, though. Well, it's very at-home feeling. You're leaned up against a car in a driveway, playing guitar and singing. Yeah. Or like when the new song that you just wrote. You were just sitting on the couch, man.
Yeah.
It was just, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
The one that you just posted like a couple days ago. Man, it's great. It's just like, hey, this is what the process looks like. And you pick up the guitar and you just go with it.
And I think technology, as it became more invasive into our lives.
That's a good word for it,
also made it so that we had to be more honest.
So I was going to bring that up with what you were talking about. I feel like us as humanity, like our bullshit meter has gotten so good through the pandemic and afterwards that
we're not bullshit anymore.
Well, yeah, there's just no room for this sort of like flagrant ridiculousness that comes along with performative art.
Man.
Because that was something that, like, my dad was a lead singer pretty much his entire life. And he told me a couple of different stories about record label executives or, you know, A&R people coming out and watching a show or whatnot. And he would do really well, and they would talk to him afterwards, and they'd be like, all right, so what do you want to do? Like, who do you want to be, basically? And he would always just kind of be like, I want to be me. I want to make music. I want to.
That's really it.
I want to do the thing. And apparently, they all hated it back in the 70s because they wanted to find the new person to build up into a superstar.
Right. Well, yeah, turned into a character.
Right, and turned into a character.
Yeah.
Or a character.
They're still kind of like that.
Well, the business people are.
Yes.
But I feel like the musicians.
The people, though, control the business.
But that's the
people and the musicians need to
it's
have
starting to turn, I think.
That's the cool thing about TikTok.
It's changing.
The more independent artists and creatives can be, the more they can be themselves. Because for a long time, it was record labels, and you were kind of under them.
Right.
You kind of had to do what they said if you wanted that lifestyle.
The old format was like, we're going to sign you to like a 2 or 3 record contract. If you deliver a couple of hits from the first 2, play it safe. Then we might let you get like a little weird on your 3rd record.
Exactly. So it's about clout, and I hate that word because I just hate the way it sounds.
Right. Yeah.
More than anything,
Totally
I just don't like the word clout at all.
Yeah.
I love the English language. Like, imagine trying to put clout into a song. Yeah, right. We have a saying when you insult songwriters, it doesn't sing good.
Yeah.
It doesn't even say good.
Yeah.
And but no, that's really what it's about. And so I remember auditioning for Warner Brothers Records. No hate to Warner Brothers at all.
Yeah.
Someday you'll sign me.
Yeah.
But I auditioned for them, and they were like, "Is this you? Like, is this who you are?" And I thought I was.
Yeah.
I thought it was me.
Yeah.
I said yes, and I'll never forget, man. Like, what a punk line to say, but I was like, and they were like, anything you want us to know about you? You know, like what your vision is for your career. And I was like, well, I want you to know I'd rather die than make a pop country record.
Well, dude, that's kind of a solid statement.
I don't know why I said that, bro. Like, to this day, I'm like, dude, why did you say that?
It's kind of a badass statement.
It kind of is. It kind of listen. I feel like you're looking at it the wrong way, man.
I know.
Because do you want to make a pop country record?
I'm glad it didn't happen that way. No, I don't, because I would though. But like, because pop country is cool, but it's like I would make
catchy.
I would make it like the pop country record I want to.
Right. So it would still be Dylan.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many labels in town, and no hate against anybody making a living.
That's
like,
such a great
living,
statement,
dude. If you're making a living, that's fucking tight. Like, if you were making a living, dude, and you got signed, and you're doing pop country, or you Luke Bryan, or you whoever, man.
Right.
You're Morgan Wallen or whoever, you're doing pop country, like some of that shit slaps.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Like, some of that stuff slaps.
I'm all for creatives expressing themselves, and
That's
a
what
lot
I'm
of it's catchy, but at the same time,
I really do. But then I also hate it.
Yeah.
There are some times where I'm like, how many songs can you write about a truck and a beer?
Well,
give me a break.
The sound is okay. The originality still needs to be
That's
part
what
of
I'm
it.
saying,
It can't all be copy paste same song.
No, I know, man, and that's kind of where I'm at about it. And so
hard for me.
So for me, I like that. I like that.
Dude, no, I was just thinking about probably what you're thinking about.
Because
I looked at their new song.
I'm dying.
Who?
So I toured with Low Cash.
Yeah. I know about them.
Okay, so I was out with them doing all their social media stuff for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Preston, one of the lead singers, called me the other day while I was at work. I didn't answer because I was at work.
Right.
Yeah.
I still haven't figured out what he wanted. But
you haven't called him back?
But it was one of those things where like you would see everyone in that vein kind of come through, and you kind of knew who was like writing their own stuff. I feel like. Because we had like...
I think it's the difference between artist and like singer.
Right.
Are you a fucking singer, bro? Or are you an artist?
I think performer even could be.
Yes.
Because there's some people... I've noticed this. Funny enough, I noticed this rewatching Full House, which is what your Elvis thing made me think of.
Yeah, dude.
But...
Okay.
Like,
I like this.
Because like Uncle Jesse John Stamos is obsessed with Elvis in that show.
Exactly. Who isn't?
You're right. It was just funny to me because like you don't meet an Elvis fan very often.
I'm going to tell you like what I think, because I am that kind of person.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and that's how everybody should.
Like, for example, like, again, I don't like throwing shade because I am a very positive guy.
Yeah.
It was so funny when Greta Van Fleet came into to Mickey's one night.
Yeah, God.
You were there?
Yeah, they were like after a show, they played down, played Bridgestone or whatever.
Yeah.
And they come to fucking Mickey's. They probably heard that Mickey's is cool.
Right, yeah.
I mean, if you're now people are probably gonna be going Mickey's more, but and it is a cool bar. It's a cool dive bar, and I remember we were all hanging out there one night. That was back when that was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago when it was like super cool before everybody knew about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd be there every night, man.
Also when they were cool.
Yes. They fired all the original bartenders. So anyway, I'd probably still go back there once in a while. But one night, Greta Van Fleet walks in, and everybody, my buddy went up to them and like pretended like he didn't know them.
Yeah.
Just to like bust their balls.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like just to be like, you're in East Nashville, bro. Like where we see celebrities all the time. We're used to it. We see them,
Like chill.
and they were all like super hyped to be there. You could tell they're like looking around. My buddy just kind of walks up and he's like, "Hey, what band are you in? Like, I recognize you guys."
That's so
just
really
to knock them down a peg.
Yeah.
So Led Zeppelin.
And so like, yeah. Oh, you guys sound like Zeppelin. I mean, to give them credit though, man. I mean, they made some really incredible songs. There's stuff that doesn't sound like Zeppelin, but we all know that like. I mean, I'm sorry, but those first records were very much like...
Very Zeppelin.
But how else do you learn? You learn by covering people's songs. You learn by... But don't then snub them and say, oh, we weren't influenced by Zeppelin. Oh, it was...
That's the problem.
It was Aerosmith.
Well, so here's my thing, man.
Come on.
It's like the kid
Didn't Robert Plant get upset?
Yeah, he did. So the kid has wicked vocals. He does. Yeah. And I'm sorry. Listen, you sound how you sound. People get compared to people all the time. You know what I mean? You sound how you sound, but at a certain point, give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, you give credit where credit's due.
Pay your homage. That's
really
all
what
it is, man. That's all it is. If you just would have been like, okay, yeah, man, I'm heavily influenced by Zeppelin. Cool, great. But I mean, when you like Safari, for example, great song. But the second it comes on, it's like, oh shit, this is very reminiscent of Led Zeppelin. And so Robert Plant was talking about it in an interview, and they brought up Greta Van Fleet to him. I just saw it the other day. They brought up Greta Van Fleet to him, and he was like, yeah, I know who they are. They sound like someone I know. And he's just like busting balls and everything about it the whole time.
I mean, and it's, I think that's what like what you said about giving credit where credit is due. It's like, I love to credit the guys that help me have my sound.
Right.
I don't want to hide it. I don't want to act like, Marty Robbins and Roy Orbison and Elvis Presley and like Frank Sinatra didn't have an impact on me.
Yeah, man.
And those...
I'm glad you said Frank Sinatra too, because I was going to mention that to you, man. You definitely get the Elvis, but you also get that like 50s big band kind of feel from you at certain points.
Like if I had the money, bro, I would have like a pit orchestra.
I would
have like a... Not for every album, but like, there's an album I was going to release it as an album, and I kind of realized that I wanted to release it as singles, because in the content-driven world, like, I think I'm going to put it out as like a single a month.
Yeah.
But the whole theme of this stuff, I'm going to release it on Christmas Day, coming up, called Fantasy. Strings and like big band and big production,
I'm extremely excited to hear that, man.
So... Like if I really did have like the money, I would want to be like a Duke Ellington type character, or like Dizzy Gillespie or John Coltrane type sound, where I could have, I mean, not all those sounds are vocal sounds, but for me, I love the old world.
Yeah,
I'm wrapped up in it.
Well, people need to keep it alive, man. There's so much beautiful sound from back then, and it's very authentic.
Yeah, you don't want to be like the nerd in the fedora, like the guy that's like, I dress like a guy from the 1940s.
Yeah.
That's my character type now. All I do is play Fallout Vegas all day long.
Jeez, I know so many of those people.
The neckbeards.
Yes.
Yeah.
God bless them.
Gotta have them.
I'm just curious because I have two questions.
Ask away.
First one is our vinyl and the sessions you did with them. Is that a label or is that just?
Dog, they're doing so much right now.
Yeah,
they are.
Talk about.
I can talk about as much as I can talk about.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, I don't think I can say much more. I have another one in the works with them that we're working on.
Love that. Yes.
They did a beautiful freaking show. Like,
it's
it was such a good.
So here's the thing, man. They're changing the game. So Gems on VHS.
Love them.
Western as fuck.
Love them.
And our vinyl are changing the dynamic. Those three companies, I feel like, have this hold on American listeners in particular.
Yeah.
Sweden and Europe, that's a different story. They love country too.
Interesting.
But our vinyl has 4.3 million people tuning in a month to their channel.
Wow.
On Spotify.
Well, they're so good at getting like authentic, great artists that just
it's
don't
my buddy
need the
Alan,
mainstream.
and I'll plug him right now. I mean, Alan is their creative director. He's like the director.
Yeah.
And I went and played a private party for the presidents of the company recently, and they paid me fat, man.
Dude, that's awesome,
private
man.
party for them.
That's so
and
cool.
I'm really in with the people there. Like, I love them. They're great. They're very fair about the way they do things. Like, they're essentially a record label, dog. Like, they will front you without it being a record label.
Right.
Like, without signing the contract. It's like, it's so cool like that. They're different than anything out there right now because they have so many listeners and so many followers and so much of, like, rural America tuning in. And then, like, for my first project then, for example, I won't say as much in case they increase their rates, but they, they charged me, under like 10 grand for the session, and I had to recoup that. So the streams that I do, and we're almost there. I think we're almost at recoup,
So you're not having to...
nothing out of pocket.
Okay.
Dude, that's a great
deal.
You can tell that they really care
It's
about
like a
independent
label.
artists.
Well, it's just like a label.
That's what I'm saying. And so the coolest thing about it...
For those who don't know, a traditional label would normally like loan you or give you a salary for a year based on what they assume it would take for you to make a record.
Exactly.
You make that record, and then the sales of the record pays back what they've fronted you. Which,
depending on the percentages of, like, say, how you sign it. Is it a 50-50 deal? Is it, like, where they own your merch? Like,
never sign a merch
Never
deal.
sign a merch deal. You have to own your merch. You have to be able to go to your shows and sell it.
That will make you money.
It's going to make you money every time.
Ticket sales will not.
Well, I think I did the math on it. It was, like, somewhere around 10,000 streams is, like, the equivalent of, like, a merch item.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, because Spotify pays what, like...
It's
a
like
penny for 1,000 listens.
I think it's like, and they're. Oh, did you hear? They're changing it now. They are changing it so where that, dude, if you don't make over 1,000 streams, you don't get paid. So you only start to get paid on Spotify now with the new clause or whatever they're putting in there. So if you update Spotify and you don't read those contracts, you won't even know. So if you're a young artist,
it's important,
and you get 800 streams on each one of your songs, you're not getting paid.
Nope. I've been there.
I mean, mind you, it's a small amount anyway if it's 800 streams.
Yeah.
So 60,000 streams is where you start seeing money. 60,000 streams is where I started to see, like, 60,000 streams can make you, like, $300. Which is... No, not $300. It's like $30.
Yeah, $30. That makes
I need to do the math again here because...
Dude, that is so wild.
Because, like, okay, for example, like, okay, I got to make sure I get the math right here. Let me go into my Spotify artist account right now. So... on average, we're getting about, 38,000 streams a week.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
So good.
And it's because of our vinyl. Right. I mean, I'll say that flat out. So yeah, it's like I think it is.
Yeah, when you're looked up online, that's the first thing.
That's the first thing that comes up, dog.
But that's a great thing for you, I feel like, because I feel like they took care of your image. Like,
100%, man. The videography on it was beautiful.
Well, not just that, but also the vibe, I feel like just makes sense.
Yeah.
It honestly, it's like somewhere in between like a Western Lana Del Rey and Orville Peck kind of like...
Man, I love that. Yeah, I love Lana Del Rey, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, same.
You see, she came down like Broadway after she went and did her little show.
Yeah.
She played with my buddy Timbo, bro. You ever have Timbo on the podcast?
That'd be
you would
awesome.
do it. Timbo is like, downtown, plays Roberts and stuff. Like, if you're gonna go down there, go to Roberts or Layla's or like Acme. The rest of them are gonna waste your time. You're gonna be. I'm sorry to the rest of the country guys, Jason Aldean and all those guys. Like I said, I'm not a hater at all, but I know what I like and what I don't like.
Right.
And I don't like those pop country bars.
Oh yeah. I remember why you
and they're playing the same songs over and over. But there's something so cool about like downtown Roberts, Acme, and Layla's where like you can go play your own music. Like,
Roberts especially. I know a couple of people through the theater community actually that gig there.
It's
pretty
amazing.
often.
I need to go to the better bars.
Thrilled by it.
Roberts is the best honky tonk bar in Nashville.
I would agree with
hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Johnny Cash, Marty Robbins, Roy Orbison, Willie Nelson, Eddie Arnold. The list goes on and on and on and on. Their names are on the walls. They used to play there when Nashville was like coming up.
Right. Well, they got rid of the other one that was like that. Freaking the one up from Cafe Coco. Why can I not remember the name of this place?
Well, you're talking about Exit?
Yeah, Exit.
Well, no, okay, so here's the thing. It's not gone.
Oh, it's okay. Explain,
Okay, so what I heard.
Okay.
And I could be wrong. I'll spill the tea about it.
Right.
Was one of the owners.
No one's listening.
One of the owners apparently was like getting kicked out because he was like laundering or stealing money or some shit.
Love that.
And I said I could be wrong. Okay,
Right.
so don't hold me accountable for libel here.
Oh, you're good.
Still rolling.
Oh yeah.
And so apparently when he was getting kicked out of the company, he was like, it's all closing down, and like spread this rumor was closing down.
Gotcha. Okay,
so that's literally seriously. So it was one guy on like a vendetta.
Yeah, and
he wanted to be like, if I'm leaving,
everybody.
It's all
because I was heartbroken when I heard.
And then what they did was they got rid of him. Apparently, this is what I heard through the grapevine.
Right.
I said I could be wrong. Like this is just literally rumors.
Yeah, because I haven't seen like an announcement for because like I used to. That used to be the place I went every single weekend.
Yeah,
like, that was the only thing I did was go to Exit.
And you guys want to come out to the show across the street, The End.
Yeah, I love The End.
It's very historical,
man.
Yeah. We're playing there November 28th with Josh Hines and Tor Miller.
Write this down.
100. You guys need to come, man.
Yeah,
November 28th.
I
haven't played there in like
such a great
8 years. It's amazing. The sound is great there. It's historic. They pay the bands well.
Yep. I saw X Cult there. That was another good one.
Yes.
A lot of good punk shows.
You know, though, before all this Exit nonsense, I sold that motherfucker out.
Really?
Yes. With the Criticals, a rock band. I've never sold out a show of that size capacity in my life. I've sold out smaller venues.
I understand what you're saying. I thought you meant like you spilled the tea on them way before, but you
I sold it out.
Yeah,
man.
awesome.
Well, not me. I sold it out with Josh Hines and my little brother, and we did like a very broken down country set without a drummer, like just a steel player and a couple of guitars and like harmonies, like just smashing harms.
Yes.
And because we didn't know if they were going to close or not, and then the Criticals were like, "Yo, we're going to get our name on the fucking wall." And they're a rock band, incredible rock band. They're like doing it. They're still making rock and roll, man. And rock and roll's not dead, man. I know it's hard to make it in rock and roll. It's hard out there if you're making rock and roll. Don't give up. It's fucking cool.
That's what I'm doing.
It's super cool music. It's just harder to make it in rock and roll right now than ever.
It is.
But I mean, they were on our vinyl, so that I'm telling you, like,
our vinyl seems to be.
Bro,
it's there.
Well, it's those 3 channels that you mentioned earlier. So, like, even gyms, right? So, like,
I'm trying to get on their
so many people. So, like, Sierra Farrell, that's the first time I ever heard her was on gyms. And that was back in, like, 2016. And it was back when she had released the Dream. Beautiful song.
I opened up for her at Exit.
Did you?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That is fucking sick. I'm in love with that woman.
Yeah.
Dude. She is so talented.
It takes a lot to not fall in love with her.
Dude, oh my god, she is so freaking talented.
And
now she's cut a song with Zach Bryan. That's sick.
I can't believe her career has gone through the roof. Like
she deserves it, man.
And it's no secret. I have a significant other now, but it's no secret. We used to date back in the day.
You and Sierra Farrell?
Yes,
are you serious?
Yes. And,
fucking props, buddy.
If my wife is watching this, she can fast forward. But no, she, I realized she was a major talent in town early on, and I saw her at the American Legion 100 times, and one of the most talented people that I've ever met, ever.
She exudes talent,
and it's just real. So there's that, defining kind of line between are you an artist, are you a writer, are you a performer, But artists kind of wraps them all into one. So artists is if you're an artist, you should be able to be a performer. You should be able to write your own songs.
Yes.
You should be able to be talented and be a musician.
I was about to say, honestly,
craft.
I feel like that's just I feel like maybe by a different generation standard, that was just musician or I keep saying this because it's just true, but I love this Rick Beato quote, which is just before there was Pro Tools, there were just pros. And I think that that's like a little bit to what you're alluding to is just that, I mean, like, if you, because how many times just you, like, because I know I could probably list off 10 different people that I know that have been through this cycle before, but I'm curious because you're a Nashville musician, how many times just you have done this where it's like, okay, I'm going to go to a writing session where it's 6 other Nashville writers. We're all going to sit in a room and get nothing done. We're going to have a catered
I've never got anything done. Like, I've never not gotten something done. If I go in a room with somebody...
Dude, same. I
can't do it.
Yes, I can't stand
But also, I can't
do
more than 3 people.
No,
it's
a boardroom.
I've written with like Leroy Powell, Tim Lee Jones, and stuff. These guys are like, they call Tim Lee Jones the homeless millionaire.
Yeah,
because he was on tour so much. Yeah, he made $1 million on royalties.
Yeah,
and now he's living out, I think like Michigan or something. And these are older cats, like, you know, not older cats. Sorry to these guys, you know, you're not that old.
Well, yeah,
but buddies of mine, they're like, you know, in their 40s and 50s, and you know, they're working with like Reba McEntire and Travis Tritt and
hey, Travis is great.
He's great, dude. They're out on the road right now. Leroy's got like 8. He called me today. He was like, "Man, I got 8 more shows with Travis Tritt. We're gonna get those songs out. I swear." He's like, "I'll get my life back." You know, the voicemail. All right. Can I play his voicemail?
Yeah, absolutely. While you're pulling it up, dude, I gotta ask, man, because you kind of alluded a little bit earlier that, you know, when you sold out Exit In, you were playing with a rock band once upon a time, right? When you first started.
I was playing with Iron Vessel when I first came here.
Iron Vessel. That is the heaviest name.
Hold on.
Ever.
Let me just real quick. Let me see if you can hear it. He said, "Hey yo, so and so." Sounds tired.
I got 8 more shows to try to
Dude, I'm telling you. And I was like, poor guy, man, he sounds tired.
You started with the rock band, and I want to say I either saw it in an article or I saw it on a post that you had made where they were essentially asking you about it. You started with the rock band, and you pretty much said that you wanted to, like, you've always wanted to write genuine, real, from the soul, heartbreak country.
Yeah, so I started doing that. Like, I mean, I'm from Amish County in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Yeah. So if you hear a little twang in my voice, it's not intentional. If I say y'all, it's not intentional.
Right.
I've been here for 10 years.
Yeah, it's like grafted.
It's like, you know, like I was 19 when I moved here, so 10 more years, and that's the majority of my life.
Right.
More of my life in Tennessee than in growing up.
Yeah.
And so I kind of worked out the New York East Coast accent a little bit and learned to talk a little slower and learned to appreciate Southern music a little bit.
Yeah.
And I always loved it. But, you know, with my sound coming from conservative Amish people, bro, like they weren't allowed to have radios.
Right.
So like,
of course.
Like, you know, the kids would sneak them. Like my dad would catch pigeons, blind them with a flashlight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen that happen.
And then bag them.
Yeah.
And then this is back in the day where, like, you know, I don't know, PETA wasn't on your ass.
Right.
And he would take a bag of pigeons.
Yeah.
Or he probably put them in a cage, I think. Probably got them out of the bag.
Right. Yeah.
He'd take a cage of pigeons to the fair or the market and sell them as like clay shot.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Let them go. And bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. So he would go on the farm and collect them up, go to the market, and he would save up, dog, like for like months on end to buy a radio. And this was the same grandfather that gave me the Elvis hatred. So he later softened up and like they kind of got electricity when they were old because like you need it.
Right? Yeah. It makes life a little easier.
But then my mom's mom on her side, they stayed like gas lanterns till the end.
Yeah.
No electricity. They had a phone in the barn though.
Interesting.
They had a phone in the barn, like so they go around it. The preacher would say, or they would call him the bishop.
Right.
It's kind of like a Catholic kind of thing, but in a different way. They're more Protestant, like Anabaptist. Like the Amish were the people that the Catholics were killing in Europe.
Question about that, real quick, just because I learned this recently.
Yeah.
I learned that bishops in Catholicism are supposed to be directly in the bloodline of an apostle. Is
apparently it's not the same with the Amish.
Okay.
No, the bishops in the Amish are kind of like it's kind of like how you could become a pastor in like normal non-congregational churches, or whatever.
Right.
You know, if you want to be a bishop, like my uncle Mose was a bishop, and
his name was Mose.
Mose
straight from the office. Dude, that's great.
That's okay. My dad's name is Gideon. Okay, that's his name, bro. I'm telling you.
That's from the Righteous Gemstone.
Did you just hand out
no, it's
Bibles?
real. No, it's real. It's real, man. The names are amazing. Like Jacob, I'm surprised they named me Dylan, but my dad actually, when they left the Amish,
maybe it's because they got the radio.
It's probably because they got exactly. Mom loved Bob Dylan.
There you go.
No shit.
Yes,
There it is.
it's a real thing.
That's the tie-in.
And it's so funny, man. Like we had a show in Nashville that was called the Dylan Show, and it was because you live in Nashville. How many other Dylans are you gonna bump into?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're musicians. Your mom named you Dylan.
Right.
And
Quite
so
a few.
we had a show with 3 Dylans,
That
all
sounds
spelled the
right.
same way. It was called the Dylan Show, and then we did the Spider-Man meme at the end.
Yeah, there it is.
That's awesome.
So, with someone who loves
Oh,
writing
yeah.
Heartbreak Country so much, because you're really good at it, man. I mean, you got some great heartbreak songs. I'm a sucker for like depressing music. I love it, dude. You guys love
EP
it.
that's gonna come
I
out
do.
soon with a bunch
all
of
of it's fucking depressing. So I gotta ask though, man. I can't assume too much about your life. We just met, but I have to assume that you're pretty happy in life with your family and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you find it harder to
how do I
write
get there?
depressing
I like this
music?
question. Hold on.
Do you find it harder to write depressing music, or do you think that you're just really good at putting yourself in that mindset?
I'm really good at putting myself in that mindset because I actually can't write when I'm depressed.
Really?
I can write
That's
when
what I write the best.
I can write when I'm in a good headspace and I've had a couple beers and everything's cool.
Yeah.
But then I pull on past horrible experiences.
Beautiful.
And then
With
I'm
them.
teary-eyed holding
Yeah.
my guitar when the day was fine. The
It's
day
almost
was
meant
okay.
interesting in a way.
The day was fine. Everything was fine in the day. Matter of fact, it probably had to be for me to have that time to get the space for me
Right.
to pick up the
Right,
guitar. Everything was good. Everything worked out all the time, and everything was in its right places. And then I have that moment, where I'm like, okay, this is happening.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know that there's something real. Like we had one of our friends' kids over. We were babysitting, and luckily they let me get the demo. That song that I cut for the little. I like posting new songs to
Right.
Instagram and TikTok because then people do. When's it coming out?
Right.
Right.
That's the new thing. It's content driven.
Yep.
And so you can post these little clips, even though you're not getting royalties from the clips. Like I know a lot of people will do they'll put the real audio of the song over it,
Yes. So
and
that
then
you can get the
pretend to
royalties.
sing behind
Yeah.
it, which is fine.
It's fine,
Yeah.
but
I don't like doing that.
I love the
I don't like doing
authenticity
that.
of just sitting
I
on
want
the
you to
couch
hear
with a
me
guitar.
being a little off pitch
Yeah.
or singing it a little fucking different. And so
It makes it very relatable.
Yeah, and so that night when I sat
Yeah.
down to write, I'd rather die with my boots on.
Yeah.
It's a military term. A lot of guys use that, and I am gung ho for those guys.
Yeah.
I know every war we fought has not been the right war, but I'm so gung ho for those dudes
Yeah.
because of what they go through. And the guy who cut that song with me, "Somewhere You Are," he's building a channel like Gems on
I love that
VHS.
song, dude.
They're called The Last Troubadours.
Oh,
That's a great name.
wait. I feel like I've heard of that.
Bro, and
Is
he
that
had,
thing?
yeah, it's like blowing up. Right
Okay,
now. And
yeah.
he's making a channel like that. And like, that's another way where I said we can all eat, right? Like, you
Yeah.
can always make a new channel, bro.
Yeah.
You can always start a new thing.
Yeah.
And he asked me so many questions about how does Gems on VHS do it? How does our vinyl do it? And all this.
Right.
And I'm just learning that, like, man, maybe the new generation of artists is independent.
Yeah, it's so DIY. It's so DIY.
And that's why, like earlier, you were asking if they're going to become a label. Like,
Yeah.
they are, bro.
Right.
They are going to become a label. And I can't, like I said, I can't say too much.
Right.
But they have said to me, like,
That's the trajectory.
they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, I told Alan, like, who's a creative director, I was like, bro, you guys are, like, already labeled. What you're doing
Yeah.
for talent is, like, unbelievable.
Right, so that's an interesting thing too, because I had this interesting little business venture for a while that didn't really amount to anything, but it was called Bedroom Pop, and the whole idea was
That's
that
fun.
we were going to be like a stopgap for people who didn't have a record label, but
Yeah.
were at the point where they had like a full record written.
Yeah.
So the idea was we were going to sell them packages where we'd be like, okay, we'll record all of your demos for you. We'll take them and pitch them to people,
Yeah.
or you can just pay us to record and engineer your whole record, and we'll put it on Spotify and everything for you.
Yeah.
And you can just kind of like give us a 10% like
Yeah,
gig
yeah.
fee, basically.
Yep.
So that was the idea. But what I think is so interesting about the way that music is shaping now is that I don't even think stuff like that's going to be necessary at a certain point. I think it'll literally just be the people who are willing to be dedicated to the work
to the craft,
people that are going to rise to the top.
I mean, it's about longevity.
It is.
It's like the
longevity.
It's like the tortoise and the hare.
Original content. Yeah.
You know, it's like the tortoise and the hare. It's like
you gotta be
moved to You moved to Nashville, and you're like, I want to be famous. I moved here at 19, bro. I moved here with my girlfriend at the time. At 19, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
Was in a rock band though. She played bass in the rock band.
That's cool.
We moved here. Yeah, and I'm still thankful for her.
Yeah, of course.
Because I don't think I would have had the courage to come here without her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we moved with I was 19, she was like 21.
Yeah.
You know,
and you were from Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amish
well, I know,
country.
yeah. So like,
you know,
did you just? Were there any
stops
stops along the way? You literally just were like, okay, Nashville.
Yeah.
Wow.
Straight drive down to Nashville, and like I said, you know, I don't think I could have done it without someone giving me some kind of support.
Yeah. I'm sure.
And I was so naive at the time, you know, coming to town. But it just took me grinding through it and trying to find myself. And so, like you were saying, with like, you know, it's really the person that just kind of outlasts everybody else.
Yeah, well, it seems like motivation and drive is so important right now. Mostly,
I would light a blunt in the house, but I don't think it's allowed.
Well, if I didn't have a kid,
I brought this like super dude. Maybe afterwards we can go outside.
There
or
we
something.
go.
Who knows, you know? You had a thought though.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to switch to a different thought.
Yeah,
please,
man.
This is a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, whatever you got, buddy.
What do you do as far as production goes? Because I'm sure that you're not engineering the records, but
I'm not that smart. You're right. You're like I can tell he's not that smart.
I wouldn't say
he's kind of smart. But look at him.
Had him pegged the second he sat down, dude.
No, it's just that I'll put it this way. I feel so stupid saying this, but it's really kind of true. My dad always said that he had an arranger's ear, and I never knew what that meant until I started listening to people. But it's just like I know how to make a piece work. And as I've gone through kind of my musical side of my career, I've noticed that I definitely got that, and I'm definitely more of like a later Beatles person. Like I like to see
the composition and later stuff with the strings. Okay, the only reason I'm listening to you, but I had to pull this up because like you might not be able to hear this stuff so good, like I don't know, from my phone, but just so you guys can know like what I'm working on.
Yeah.
And so this is the kind of stuff I'm working on.
Oh, is this the new stuff coming out?
This is like I have singles lined up for a whole year.
That's awesome.
I had a guy in Denmark score the whole thing.
It sounds so good.
Dude, it's beautiful.
Just you and me, just you and me.
This is the Elvis coming out.
Yes,
sure.
you see? And so, like I'm composition minded. When you said that, like composition minded, like I'm so much like hear the music.
Yes.
I hear the music. Man.
Same. So that's kind of I guess what I'm asking is how do you line up with the way I do things, which is I do everything by myself completely. Yeah. I don't know that I couldn't work with an engineer.
So what do you use, like Pro Tools or Ableton or?
So I actually moved to PreSonus 1.
Yeah.
Mostly because I bought a Black Lion interface and it came with that.
That's cool.
Dude, it's been super great. I actually love it. But I was on Logic before that.
Logic. And so that's the thing. I know none of it. Like I know to look at the sound waves on the computer screen.
Right. Yeah.
And be like, punch me there.
Right.
Or,
yeah.
For me as an artist, I really am a delegation type guy. Like,
cool. That's honestly from what my experience. That's how you kick the can up the road, so to speak.
Yeah.
If you can delegate yourself well to other people who know how to push a vision, that's when stuff really gets done.
100%.
But I guess what I'm wondering really is like, how critical are you about your production? Because obviously, like everything you do,
critical, bro.
But that's a good thing.
Very critical.
You have such a unique and individual. Well, I don't want to be reductive, and I don't want to say that you're taking from anyone. But you
I am. I'm robbing motherfuckers blind.
You are, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm glad you say that, but but really, like, just
you fancy
are. Like we were talking about Greta Van Fleet earlier.
Yeah.
Like, if you're alive, bro.
Yeah.
You have influences that are
1,000
fucking obvious sometimes. Not always obvious.
But I hear Roy Orbison. I hear Johnny Cash. I hear Elvis.
Johnny Cash. 100%.
I hear so much early '60s. That's what
early 60s, late 50s. I was gonna say, man, funny enough, you hit certain notes sometimes, and I don't even think I can say this. Paul Anka.
Put your head on my shoulder.
You hit certain notes sometimes, man, and I'm
whisper in my ear, baby. Say things I want to hear and show me that you'll always be true.
That's why when you said Frank Sinatra earlier, I was like, I love that he knows that it's coming from there.
But you
Paul Anka too, man. I mean, you guys got it. I mean,
you do a vocal trick that Roy Orbison did too, which is that you get into your head voice super low volume at first. Which is
blast.
Not a lot of people do that, but it makes you transition into the correct note.
It's easier to do it though.
It is.
Yeah, I'll have a little bit more.
Yeah,
you know, just a wee bit more. You know, I got to get back to the Casa, but one more drink, maybe. I'm not a lightweight, my guy. I really am not a lightweight. That's perfect.
Here, give me just like.
Everybody gets a touch. Everybody gets a touch.
Well, now that we're talking about Roy Orbison and Paul Anka, you know, I recorded a song with the Lone Bellow. They were cutting a record.
Dude, the Lone Bellow is so good.
So I write with Brian Elmquist. Like we go to the same church.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we go to the same church and everything. And me and Brian are really good friends. And me and him started writing because one day randomly he texted me and he was like, "We need a guy to sing this song." My buddy wrote it. It's called Only Good Will Grow. And he was like, and you guys have to check it out on YouTube. It's out there.
Yeah.
We did a Thanksgiving special by DeKale. I can't say his last name right now. I don't want to butcher it, DeKale. Sorry. He does music videos for like Beyonce and like all the big shots.
Yeah.
And so Lone Bellow rented out Roy Orbison's mansion.
Whoa.
Which is now owned by Marty Stewart.
Interesting.
He bought it.
Yeah.
And so the orchard beside the house was actually Roy Orbison's house, and they rebuilt it. It was where that fire happened that killed his kids.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
And then when the house burned down, they rebuilt it, but Johnny Cash helped him rebuild it, or at least built the orchard for him.
Yeah.
And Johnny Cash told Roy, "Only good will grow here now."
Oh, and that's the song, obviously.
And that's the song.
That's
and so
good.
Brian Elmquist from the Lone Bellow wrote it with another gentleman. I don't want to get the name wrong. And he wrote it with this other gentleman. It's an amazing song, you know. Only good will grow in the sacred garden. And he called me one day because we were friends, and he was like, "Man, can you come sing this song?" I had 2 days to learn it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
He said, "Can you come sing this song? We need your voice on it." And I was like, "Wait, this is a Ralph Lauren production? Like, what?" RRL, which is Ralph Lauren Vintage.
Right. So was it for
Ralph Lauren?
Was it for like a commercial though?
No, it was their like pet project.
Oh, interesting.
RRL is like their pet project, bro. RRL does like they'll find like they're a vintage company, but like on steroids, like you know, like buying like selling $600 pieces and jackets.
They're reclaiming the best of the best.
They are, and that's a cool thing that happens in Nashville. You know, a lot of people have vintage companies and stuff.
We have a lot of that.
Really cool, but RRL, man, DeKale himself. I should look up his name right now, so we can just like plug him because he's like so good, dude. So let me find DeKale.
So while you're doing that, quick callback
to
writing the sad guttural country music.
Yes.
So have you? I've ran into this problem before with partners where if I write something that seems like
not podcast partners.
No. If I write something that seems like I'm speaking about a past love, it makes them uncomfortable. And so I don't want to get too personal. If you're not interested in answering, you don't have to.
I can answer honestly.
But have you written something that has made your partner like question, like, okay, but that seems a little too real? Like, always, right?
No, I'm sorry, it does.
Yeah.
She cries when I write. I'll be at the house and I come up with something, and it's because I know how to write. I'm not trying to gas myself up. It's like I know how to write fucking sad shit. So it's
do.
So I will oftentimes, she'll be in earshot, And, you know, just for example, you know, I was writing this song called You're the Reason I Still Drink. And
that's a fucking great title, man.
And so there's a song called You're the Reason I Drink, which is a pop country song from the 90s or whatever, early 2000s. And I looked it up and I was like, the word still just made it original. There's no song called, as far as I know, You're the Reason I Still Drink. And I was sitting there writing the song, and we had a hard day that day. Yeah. And I've been trying to like limit my booze here and there, and I've done really good. I used to be an animal. Yeah. And now I usually only drink on the weekends. Like I'll drink on the weekends. Yeah. I'll have a few drinks at night.
Same, buddy.
And I used to be an animal. Like I used to be an animal, man. Like, I mean, I'll say it right now. Celebrities never want to say, or I don't consider myself a celebrity, but I'm saying
I get what you're saying.
A lot of people in front of a camera never want to admit they, you know, had a drug problem, had an alcohol problem. I mean, I loved cocaine, and I would probably say that I still love cocaine. Yeah. It's that I know I can't ever touch it again.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That it will ruin my life.
Yes.
Because
it's not worth it.
And it did ruin my life to a point where the woman I'm with now left me because my shit was not together.
Right.
She has seen the worst of me, man. She's pulled me out of the gutter. And had enough faith in me to believe in me, and that's why we have a family now. And I love her to death. And I love her to death. And you know, when I'm writing this song, you know, one line, I wake up in the morning and you're still right there. I haven't changed the sheets so I smell your hair. It seemed I had it all together before it fell apart. You know, and I thought I'd put it down forever, then you broke my heart. You're the reason I still drink. And it's like going on to all these reasons. Yeah. All these reasons. Dude. It was only yesterday that I held you in my arms. What a major change a day can make when heartbreak's in the cards. I tried to save us both, and I tried so very hard. But there wasn't no saving us because heartbreak's in the cards. And then he says, well, I pulled up once again to my favorite honky-tonk, and it's been a while since I've seen you, so I didn't think about much. But I worried that I might see you, so I wore my favorite jeans. And then I saw you out there dancing, and I swear that I could scream.
Oh, man.
You're the reason I still drink, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, that is fucking killer, man.
And, you know, when I wrote that, it was like hitting me hard. I had a hard time writing it. And I could tell, you know, if there's anybody else in the room that doesn't, you know, she's not a musician, she's a model. And
gotcha.
And she's creative in her own ways so much. But, you know, being an artist and being a writer, like, it's going to hit people in different ways all the time. And you have to be ready for that.
Yes.
And so to answer that question severely, as honestly as I can, is that I've written around people, women all throughout my life.
Yep.
I'm a lover boy.
Yeah.
And I've written many songs in front of many women, and thank God I found the perfect one. But specifically in my situation, she can be very disturbed.
Yeah.
And unsettled.
Yeah.
By me reaching into my past.
Yeah.
Reaching into the hurt. And bringing it back from the grave.
Yeah.
And watching me sit there, tears in my eyes, and I cry when I write sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, having a hard time writing this stuff. She can see it, and I'll see her, and she's so emotional too. That's why I love her. She's a feeler like me.
Yeah.
She can feel it.
You have to have that.
And man, I mean, sometimes there's so much emotion in one room, all you can do is cry.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And listen, when you're expressing stuff like that and you're reaching that deep, I mean, you're resurrecting it from the dead. I mean, that is 100% what you're doing. And it's hard to do when it hurts, but honestly, that's when you get the best work. That is when you get the best writing.
1,000%.
I still cry about some of the songs that have nothing to do with me anymore. Yeah. Like who I am now. Like I'm so far away from that. Like the one song I did with our vinyl, Old Letters, you know.
That was I really like that one.
I was down on my knees, drunk on whiskey. I beg you, please. And that was real, dude. She was at Mickey's that night. My ex at the time, the one who helped me with the Nashville, she was at Mickey's that night. Told me not to come. She told me not to come. I didn't know later that I think she was into somebody at the time. And I was like, I'll come see you. She's like, no. I'm here with the girls. Like, don't come.
Yeah, it's never good. I feel like that's...
They don't come here.
It's never the right...
And I was like...
For your significant other to say.
And I got drunk as piss. And I fucking fell asleep by the little heater we had in that little East Nashville house on the floor. I woke up at like 3 in the morning. And I remember drinking whiskey And listening to fucking country music, of course, it makes it worse. All the sad
Oh
shit.
yeah, but you got to do it, man. It's a weird calling.
And I remember curling up on the floor, dude. And so that song's real. Like I was down on my knees, drunk on whiskey. I begged you, please. We were dying and crying to spend a nice. I was spending a nice line to you, and I asked you over and over to tell me the truth, but you lied to me too. And we're screaming and fighting, and my heart beats like lightning.
Yep.
When I'm talking to you. And and then we met months later, and she said to me at the bar, we're trying to make peace after we broke up, and trying to make peace. And she said, I don't hate you anymore. And I said, I don't hate you too.
The two songs.
Those are real lines. That shit happened to me. It happened to me. And so to play that song, I avoid it sometimes. Sometimes some sets, I'll avoid playing it.
Yeah, we'll skip this one. It's fine.
But most of the times I lean into it because my band loves it. My band loves it. They love to play it.
That's a powerful thing right there, though, man. If you can write a song that literally brings you to the point where you're like, dude, I'm right back there, man. That's how you know you got gold.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think you're right. I think you're totally right.
There's two songs that you have right now. That, granted, I like a lot of your work, obviously, but there's two that I have on repeat because I relate to them a lot. And it's Old Letters and it's Somewhere You Are.
We should just play Somewhere You Are for the song then.
I would love that, man. I would love that because those are the two that hit me really hard.
Yeah,
because I'm going through some personal shit right now with, the mother of my child.
Being alive.
Dude, it can tear you apart, man.
Dude, it's just being alive. Being alive is very hard.
It is very hard. Everybody tries to prepare you for it. Nobody ever listens. But when you're really in the thick of it, you're like,
and what's worse about it too is people try to make it seem like it's not bad.
Oh no, it's rough.
That's what makes it worse, bro. When people gaslight you about how hard it is, or how hard it's not, or oh, look at me in Bermuda.
Yeah.
It's like, dog.
But man, I love someone who can be in tune with their emotions, though, man. Because everybody has this false ideal that if you're in tune with your emotions, you're emotional, it makes you less of a man, or it makes you weak, or it makes you this.
Dude, I was crying at Josiah's show, for example.
He's such a talented artist.
And I was crying at his show, bro. Trying not to cry. And he's talking about, here I am, 33, I signed a record label at 18.
He was just working a factory.
I know, working at Amazon.
Yeah.
And he's like, I couldn't believe that we sold out Nashville. He's almost crying in the verge of tears. Can't believe we sold out Nashville 3 days in a row. And he's like, I just, I can't believe I'm here, doing it, making a living. And for me in the audience, I'm just like, that's what I want to do, bro.
Well, man, it just goes to show you. And listen,
it's so hard not to have emotions when you hear somebody saying shit like that.
Even a very recent callback that just happened. So even when Jelly Roll, for example, I respect what he does. I'm not a huge Jelly Roll fan. Yes.
Dog, it was amazing.
His speech was great, man. The windshield is bigger than the rear view for a reason. I am, he's 39 years old, just got Best New Recording Artist. The windshield is bigger than the rear view for a reason. That is a powerful sentiment right there. Dog, it really is. It's never too late, man.
I watched that scene.
It's never too late.
I watched that speech through the window of a kitchen at Soho House because I work for Soho House. I'm still there as a chef, man.
Yeah.
I'm chefing it up 3 days a week, man. Part-time job.
Yeah.
And I watched that Jelly Roll speech, and I got to be real with people. Sometimes I want to act like music is my only job.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's okay to do construction. It's okay to go have your cafe job.
You have to.
It's okay to work at the sandwich shop.
I think it makes it mean more, in my opinion.
Dog, you have to. Who's gonna pay for the fucking record?
Right. My favorite story that I got from film school was the guy who wrote and directed Training Day. Very, very same to how Sly managed the whole Rocky deal. But what he did was he worked at a bookstore full time and just worked at I think it was Books A Million or something like that.
Yes.
And he just read script writing books while he was at work.
Whoa.
And then wrote Training Day and then pitched it to a studio.
Damn, dude.
And they were like, yes, we want this, but we want to hire this director. And the guy said, nope, you hire me or you don't get the movie. And
yes.
They went for it, and he has a career now. And that's really, sometimes, this is something I struggle with a little bit, and I wonder if you do the same, being married, because I got married young. One of the things that can sometimes be a struggle is explaining to my wife why a certain creative
Why it matters
outlet.
to you, baby.
Well, maybe not even why it matters as much as why it's necessary. Almost.
We were
necessary
talking
for
about last
your,
week.
Yeah.
I
It's
would
not
say
a
it's
choice.
necessary for your sanity.
Yeah, it's not a choice at a certain
It's not
point.
a-
You have to do
The
it.
creativity must happen, and so obviously you have the provide role. Whether we want to live in a non-gender conforming role of the world, but matter of the fact is I'm old school, and if I'm the man of the house. And we make decisions together, mind you. You know, we're a very democratic household.
Yeah.
But I believe that I need to lead the household,
Yeah.
and I need to be there for my family. And sometimes when I'm doing things that don't make money, she'll be stressed about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not making money, and I get that because
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm not going Andrew Tate on you.
Right,
I'm gonna go,
yeah.
because I think he's a bit of a misogynist.
No, yeah.
I think he's a bit too far. He's always talking about like this and that and family dynamics. I'm like, bro, you don't have a family.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to speak on it when you don't have it.
Like it's hard to keep a family unit together. Dog.
Well, it's so segmented
so hard.
in this case.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It is segmented. That's what I mean. It's not a family unit.
Right.
To keep a family unit
It's not
together,
a
there's
unit,
a lot of cohesion that must happen, a lot of coordination,
Yes.
a lot of trust in each other, and that's the thing. Trust me, and I try to tell my wife, this is our ticket.
Yeah.
Like this is our ticket.
Yeah.
Like everyone has their thing that's going to make them their thing, and my dad made a bunch of money selling furniture and chicken coops, and he's got a great business. And my wife said one day, she said, I hope we can find the thing like your dad did to make the family comfortable, make a lot of money. And I said, it's music.
Yeah.
And you just have to believe in me.
Yeah.
You just have to believe in me. That's really hard. Believing in
So
someone where when the money's not there is hard. And now the royalties are coming in.
Yeah.
It makes it a little more sensible.
Yeah.
Getting it. I think the biggest royalty check I got in a month was like $600-700, and that was like the peak.
Still great though.
Yes, and that was from the art vinyl stuff. I
Yeah.
got to keep plugging them, man. Like they did change my life a bit.
Yeah.
And there was one month where like the streams were so high, and I was like, all from Spotify and Apple Music. I'm like, well, I don't hate them so bad now.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I don't hate them so bad now. And I think the biggest advice I could give to young men in families is, if you have a dream, chase your dream, because in that dream lies the golden ticket.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. And this is something I think about at work all the time because I work a warehouse right now.
Yeah.
And the thing that, like, my mantra that gets me through a day is just like, you're doing this so that you have the ability to do the other
Be
stuff.
great.
It's a stepping stone.
Yes.
Bro.
That's what I tell myself every day. I've been doing this for 6 years, what I do for a living. I've been doing it. I graduated school for it. I've been doing it for 6.5 years through the union, did the apprenticeship, and I tell myself every day.
Union man, I love a union man.
I appreciate it, brother.
I love a union man.
I tell myself every day, man, especially when I have a hard day, I'm like, listen, this is not the final ticket. This isn't it. You're working towards something.
You're working towards something that's going to make
and
sense.
that's it. That's it, man. I mean, not every path is linear, dude. Some people get lucky. Some people bust their ass for it.
Career paths are for losers.
If you want it,
I'm sorry, dude.
So true, though.
Career paths are for losers. Like, the reason I say that is because they'll fire you after you work for the company for 20 years.
100%.
Jim Carrey said his dad was going to be in some major fucking band. People don't know Jim Carrey's story, man. This is his story. I've studied it. He's a brilliant man.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Maybe you know his story, but his dad was a major musician, man. Played the saxophone, like me. I was my first instrument.
No shit.
Sorry, that's why I connected this story.
That immediately made me think of Steely Dan and Deacon Blues.
Yeah, yes.
No,
And his dad, man, wanted to be. He was in Canada, so he wanted to be in this big band, man. He wanted to be in the band.
Yeah.
And he got an opportunity to go play in America. We would have to uproot the whole family from Canada, get citizenship in another country and visa, all this stuff, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And he worked for the same fucking law firm for 20-some, 30 years, and then they fired him.
Didn't even matter. It was just
So watch,
a
man.
total flat.
Everybody-
What the
that-
fuck, dude?
Yeah.
That is so depressing.
It is.
But
It is
Jim
depressing.
Carrey came out of that because
Right.
he realized how funny his dad was, how comedic his dad was. And I get the same thing from my father. My father taught me how to play guitar.
Yeah.
And it's like, like my dad found his thing, and I'm so proud of my dad actually because he's making a killing. And to be honest, my dad helped me buy that Gibson guitar.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford that shit.
That's a beautiful
But
thing.
my dad never did that for me when I was a kid. We didn't have money.
Right.
We didn't have money. Dad would support me morally when I was...
That's important. You got to see your dad flounder business-wise and be morally there. I think that's really important for that role.
My dad had a cafe flounder, essentially, where he went $280,000 in debt in a cafe during the recession. We opened a cafe. I worked there. That's how I got my experience in the kitchen.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
And he has since worked his way, long since worked his way out of that debt and has a new business where he's making millions. And it's like, dude, you can make $1 million. You just have to do something that you want to do.
Right.
You're not going to make $1 million doing something that someone else wants you to do.
Yeah.
Simple as that, dog.
That's
like
fair.
Fucking for real.
You gotta be passionate.
Like, if there's not a passion behind it, you will not make the money.
Well, you also...
Money follows passion.
Yeah.
100%, man.
Yeah.
That's why I tell everybody. I joke around a lot, but like I tell everybody, dude, I was born in '95. I ain't born for no 9 to 5. Like that's just what it is, man.
It's so true.
Well, I can't imagine waking up. And listen, I love the union. They've done a lot for me. They put food on my plate. They put food on my kid's plate, shoes on his feet. Like I have the utmost respect for what I do, and I am very fortunate and very appreciative. But at the exact same time,
is it your favorite fucking thing in the world?
Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not.
I
wake up and I go to work.
But to that extent, artists need to hear. Don't be ashamed to be fucking having almost 500,000 views on Spotify or on YouTube, or a video with 1 million views, and then you're in the coffee shop. That is fucking K, dog. That's
honestly
all
better.
right.
Yeah.
Because look, you're able to make your own money. You're able to make your own records.
Yep.
You're able to fund your own projects.
Yep.
No one's up your ass all the time.
Right.
Well, that's even what I like. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, those are the things that stifle creativity, too. Is all of those extra things coming into your life to push you towards it more. When sometimes having that job and having the independence to go home and sit in your studio and be like, okay,
you're comfortable a little bit,
right? All of a sudden you don't get the record anxiety.
You're not panicking,
right? You're like, okay, who cares if I don't get this take? I have 1 million. I have until I have to go to sleep to wake up for work tomorrow. Who cares?
Dog, here's the thing: art is so fucking important. I'm sorry that I'm cussing more now.
No,
you guys give me a couple whiskeys, bleed it out if you have to.
No,
I get passionate and I use curse words,
Yes, that's good.
And I'm just saying, I think art is paramount. If I want to use better language, not fucking important. Art is paramount.
Yes.
To human civilization.
Could not agree
more. And when we start degrading our architecture to stop looking beautiful, and we stop ordaining the door frames, and we stop making knocking bells look shittier, and then it's just a Ring doorbell when it was some ordained, incredible, someone spent so much time doing the metal work on it. And when you take art out of society, you degrade society as a whole. You are robbing society as a whole. Government buildings should be amazing. If we're giving you our tax dollars, the government building should be immaculate.
Speaking of LA, first time I went to LA, I routed myself directly to, I guess it was the LA court office. Because I just typed in that area. Yeah.
I've been in LA many times.
The moment I got on the street, you couldn't get to the public building because there were so many tents and homeless.
That's wrong, bro. Come on.
It was to the point where you could not see the official building from the street.
I love the homeless people too. I would love it. Yeah, thank you, bro. You know what? I was just thinking about a little tobacco, maybe after this little wacky tobacco. Oh, there they go, just jumping out. I might do another 6 milligram.
I always do the double dose, baby. Listen, man, you gotta get the little pillows.
Bro, now I'm like Bubba Gump. Incorporated.
It really ties in the camo hat and the overalls,
bro. I mean, no, but talking about that LA thing, man, it's like, okay, so here's what I feel about it. As a Christian, I believe that you need to be there, be with people, and my buddy Josh Rennie Hines, man, he's the sweetest guy. He just got baptized this last year.
That's awesome.
And
it's so cool.
Yeah, it is. I'm not a religious man at all, but I know God. God is the reason I'm here. God is the reason I'm going anywhere. And you'll find that people who really get somewhere in life are either with Satan or with God.
Yes.
They're either on the dark. They're either on the dark.
Yeah,
seriously. My buddy Jesse, who has this YouTube channel, talked about it too. He said, you can either take that dark path, and you're fucking people over.
Yeah.
And you're doing bad deals.
Yes.
And you're messing people over, and you're going down that dark path.
Yes.
Or you can go and say, I'm with you, God, and I trust you, God. And so that's where I'm at. You know, I'm with God, I trust God. My relationship with Jesus Christ has changed my life. Yeah. And I'll never give it up. And I'm a sinner, and the only reason I'm going to get into heaven is because of Jesus.
Yeah. Dude, I'm right there with you.
And, you know, and that's, I would say it at the Grammys, I would say it right here right now. I don't mind, man. But I noticed that.
That's awesome.
I love the people, the homeless people and stuff, but we're not, if we loved them enough, we wouldn't let it happen. We would have better programs in place. We would have better drug control in place. I mean, they're all on fentanyl and heroin and slumping over in the streets. It's
so sad.
It's the saddest thing in the world. It's like, what policies are leading to this? And you have to look at policies, man.
Yeah.
I mean, how long can California do this until it's a failed state?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could look at all of the states that have, like, it's difficult because it's not just...
It's not linear. It's a complex problem.
Yes, and it's not just recreational drug use. It's also big pharma.
Because big pharma fucked everybody, man.
Big pharma.
You know how many friends I have dead because of the opioid crisis, man?
But, dude, it's...
Or who are dead because they got addicted to the painkillers or morphine or something that happened to them in the hospital. I mean, when I got my wisdom teeth removed, dog.
Dude, same.
Bro, and they shot that shit into me, dog.
I
was like, this is the best thing I've ever felt in my... I was like, oh.
I know. Dude,
And, you know, my buddy, Dylan Thiel, rest in peace. I love you, bro. And he OD'd on heroin the first time, and they got him in the hospital, and we were all like, bro, don't do dope. Like, we want you alive. Bro. Don't do dope, bro. Like, we want you alive. And then it wasn't even that took him out, man. He got a ketamine pill with fentanyl in it. And it fucking killed him, bro. He just went to sleep, didn't wake up. And they found him on his fucking recliner, dog.
It's happened to two of my friends, man. I understand that. That's
and it's like, but the thing is, it doesn't, you know, it's not just illegal drugs that kill you. You start with that addiction to that feeling. Like, I remember when I got my wisdom teeth out, like, this is the only time I've ever done intravenous drugs.
Right.
I've never done heroin, I've done, you know, I've done cocaine, I've done, that's the hardest drug I've ever done besides, like, acid.
Same.
You know?
Same. Trims, coke, acid.
Yeah, and it's like, I always knew that, like, heroin was a death sentence.
Yes.
Like, once you do heroin, like, once you put the shit...
It's hard to go back from that.
You're done.
Well, it's just
you're
too good.
done.
Well, if you're willing to take it to a point where you're sticking a needle in your arm, that's when you need
extreme,
a...
That's extreme.
That is extreme, man.
That's like carrying an AK-47 in the streets, bro. That's fucking extreme, dude.
You really... Yeah, that at that point, if you're considering sticking a needle in your arm, man... Because I've struggled with addiction for a very long time.
Same, bro.
Mostly with alcohol, but, you know, like...
I was at a coke fucking... fiend.
I was fortunate.
I'll say it right now on camera. This is the first time I've said it. Bro, I would be out in East Nashville every night doing blow, bro.
Yeah.
And
it's easy. When you live that lifestyle, man, it's hard.
Yeah. And in the late night shows and stuff. And trying to stay up till 2.
There's always somebody who's like, hey man, you want to bump? Hey man, you want to bump?
Yeah. And I'm so happy to say now that it's been years.
Good, man.
It's been years, man. And it's just...
that's how it was with Adderall for a long time. Like,
that's another one.
Yeah.
It's a methamphetamine derivative. You look at the molecular structure.
Yeah, it's literally meth.
People be like passing around at bars and stuff. Man, it makes you ratty.
Dude,
And depending on your chemical structure of your brain, it makes you aggressive.
Yeah.
I used to be big on the Vyvanse.
See, the Vyvanse was what I got.
I was big on Vyvanse.
Another derivative.
Yeah.
The 70
It's like one molecule away from meth. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I knew a chick once when my buddy came to visit me in Tennessee. He was one of my best men. And so I won't give his name. If you're watching Caleb, damn it.
We'll bleep that out.
But man, he had a chick, man, where she was, I think this is my last tibble. I'll play you guys a song before I leave.
I love it.
Absolutely.
But no, I'm just saying, man, like, we have to be real as men together that, like, that's fine. We have to be real as men together that, like, you know, this stuff is affecting our communities.
Yeah.
And,
well,
you have to rise above it, man. Like, I hate to be like, you know, I mean, honestly, I thought about getting that little rise above tattoo with the because to remind me, like, yo, you do, it's kind of cliche or whatever because the commercials, like, you do have to rise above the drugs, man.
You do.
You have got to get yourself above it.
Well, and I feel like
it's such a hard thing to do when you're in it, though.
But here's the thing. some people who are watching this, or just some people in general, we're in a different vein of humanity, I feel like, because we've chosen creativity, we've chosen to be in the outsider culture, we've chosen to sort of like take the path less traveled. Problem with that is that we aren't necessarily as relatable to the average person, and a lot of the people that I work with, I'll do some speed occasionally, or I'll do some weed.
Everyone says, I love my little drugs on the weekends. Yeah.
Right. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of those people don't understand that, like, the community that you actually are in when you're a creative and you're actually, like, pursuing that is so different, because these people are self-medicating all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Every single creative person I know is addicted to something.
Why do you think every
I smoke weed,
alcohol?
bro.
Yeah. Well,
I don't smoke cigarettes. Luckily, I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink that much.
Right.
But dude, I smoke a doobie every day.
Well, absolutely.
Same, like,
you could say that's an addiction. You know, I don't think I've gone. Every once in a while, I'll go a couple days without smoking weed.
Yeah.
But man, as a musician, like, I like that.
Right.
Same.
Well, it's also not detrimental to me.
It's not.
It's like coffee. Like, what can you choose in your life that's okay? How severe is this drug?
Right.
How severe is it? How much will it affect you, bro? If you're staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning and you got to work the next day at 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock, and you're up, coked out, and you're at some fucking random guy's house you never fucking met.
That's a problem.
That is when you realize
it. You know what I mean? And it's like, what am I doing here with these people?
Yeah. That moment right there where you're standing there and you're starting to come down a little bit, and you're like, why am I here? Why did I think this was a good idea?
Like, I should be in my bed sleeping. I should have watched fucking my favorite show. I should have watched a music doc, or maybe worked on the project that I have coming up.
Right.
And then gone to sleep.
This is what happens to me all the time. Is that I'll come home and I'll go, okay, you know what? I'm gonna smoke a little bit, and that'll be like my little kick into creativity.
Yes.
And then
is this your kick into sleep?
It's my kick into sleep.
Well, that's fine, bro.
You're
not hurting nobody if you're asleep, man.
No, it's true.
You know what I mean? Like, you're weed is the least harmful drug on the planet.
I think it's good for you, honestly. I think it's good for you.
Like weed is like below alcohol.
Yes.
And then above alcohol is like cocaine and Adderall and methamphetamines and heroin and everything. Yeah. And then, it goes fentanyl and
it's like
above that.
Danger.
Everybody needs to smoke a little weed and maybe eat a little mushrooms.
Honestly, like I said, every podcast guy can agree with that fucking shit, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
I haven't done mushrooms in a while because I feel like sometimes they can. It's always a good way when I do mushrooms. I haven't done them in about 6 months, but they will sometimes if you're focused on something, they can kind of make you a little airy.
Yeah, they can.
And so like it's good to do it in a place where like, okay, I don't have a project this month. I don't have like a major thing. Like I don't have to be.
Hey,
we were just talking.
Couch with
I'm just saying, this is like people don't realize how tactical.
It's so tactical.
Overalls are, yes.
But how many pockets have I rocketed? I got a sweater with an extra 2 pockets. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets. I got 5, 6 pockets. 7 pockets.
That's why all the guys wear them, man. I swear to God, every guy I work with, dude, they keep their phone in the very top one.
Yeah, dude.
And then,
I mean, you can put your pistol right here.
Yeah.
Like I was at the range today. I'm trying to get better with my 45. 45s are so hard to shoot.
Yeah.
Well, I got a 45 XPS Springfield.
Oh yeah,
don't like your great guns. I want to get a Sig Sauer or a Glock, a Glock 19 that holds about 10 to 15 rounds. I have a 6-shooter. I mean, because it's concealed carry, it's very small.
Right, yeah.
And I fit it back here, but it's like the overalls. I'm like, when I go to the range now, I'm like, this shit is tactical, bro. Like I'll have like a clip up here. I'll put on the, when I go to the range, I'm like. Looking like a hillbilly, like pew pew pew. I'm trying to get good, bro.
You need to look into the P365X. The 6.
I've heard about those.
Yeah, that's a great gun. Great gun.
I heard about those, man.
See, I still need to buy one. I was a 4-H kid,
Wall
so I
mounted,
felt like I
did
did
so
all the
much
gun stuff
bro.
in like 2 years of my life.
Bro, I hunt a little bit, but I'm only good at shooting birds.
Fair enough. So let me ask
specifically
you
pigeons.
Yeah, and turkey birds.
Before you play us a song,
yeah, man.
Which God, I'm so glad that you're gonna actually play us a song.
I think I'm gonna play one that you don't expect, but
good.
What do you got to say? I hope my ding wasn't popping out. I always forget.
I'm telling you, the views are. If it is.
So Let me
You'll be on Reddit in no time.
Let me just say a few things about this real quick. Hot Cups of Coffee, great song.
Thank you.
Just putting that out there.
Thank
I know
you,
that
bro.
you probably heard that a bunch of times.
One of the ones we did with our vinyl as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
our old letters, which you did with our
That's
vinyl
a
as well.
sad one about
That's a sad one.
Also
got
fantastic.
my old dog.
Cowboy Killers.
Yeah.
Maybe my favorite song on this record.
Oh, I could probably play Cowboy Killers.
So
Cowboy Killers is a great one.
You know,
I'm So Blue, great one. I mean, honest to God, dude, I swear to God, it's not blowing smoke. You just have that sound. Like, I'm a big Culture Wall fan, for example. Like, I'm a big fan.
Show them the vinyl.
Yeah.
Take it out. Show them. It's a little side A, side B. Really simple. You know, side A, side B.
We're gonna try to do this as
Yep,
legitimate
yep.
as possible.
You know, it's some great musicians on it. So you can buy this, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
It's on my shop.
Yeah.
We still have tons of these to sell. We're going to sell them. But
I believe it, man.
Is there one you want to hear particularly?
Well, not necessarily. I want you to kind of do what you...
Because I have one in mind.
Okay, I want you to do
If
that.
you have one in mind, we would definitely want you to
It's
run
because
with.
it's new, and I'll say it now here.
Okay.
Well, you know, I wasn't supposed to say too much, but the one that I
okay.
have in mind is one that's going to be on the Our Vinyl record.
See, there you go.
Yes, that would be perfect.
If
And
you
we'll
have
just do
something
it.
in mind,
All right, let's just do
that's
it.
the best way to
Let's
do it.
just do it. Let's break it out.
Good. So, two things real quick.
Of course.
Picture.
Yeah.
What is the story behind the picture?
The story behind the picture is
Because it's so good.
the story behind the picture.
It's
So
so good.
here's the reason. Thank you for asking, because people are going to think that I'm not authentic and I'm not a cowboy.
Yeah.
That's an Amish B-long hat.
So get it fucking
That's
right,
awesome.
guys. All right.
Okay? That's an Amish B-long.
No
You
cultural
can buy it in
appropriation.
Indiana. No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's an Amish B-long. That's what they would wear to Sunday church, to, like that's a top hat for the Amish people. And
That's
I got
so
that
cool.
hat in Indiana when I was going out for my grandfather's funeral.
That's awesome.
And so
That's so cool.
it's
very authentic.
that's an Amish hat. It's not a cowboy hat.
Right.
So I'm wearing an Amish hat
Yeah.
in this photo here.
So that's the other thing. This is obviously done on.
It was a tintype.
Okay,
So
so
Civil War photography.
I was about to.
The camera is from like the early
Yeah.
1900s.
Yeah.
That's and he had to do the whole.
He had to do the thing where he threw it over his
Yes.
head. Hell yes!
Yes.
Seriously though.
Yeah. No, I can tell because
Yeah.
honestly, everything about it. But I taught a photography course for a while.
Photography is like one of the coolest mediums of art.
Agreed. I taught the history of the phenotype and
So cool.
just understanding early photography, and we made like little shoebox cameras, which
Yeah.
is super fun. But this is always what you get from it. So you
Yeah.
don't find people with working equipment
Yes.
that can make this sort of image very often.
It was Robbie Stillwell. I gotta plug him, and
Yeah.
he's on the credits. In the
Yep,
back.
I
Everyone's
see
on the
him.
credits,
Yep.
and Robbie Stillwell did that that photograph there, and I just thought tintypes are too cool. Like
So
you're printing them onto a metal plate with ammonium nitrate and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and probably getting the chemicals wrong. I mean, you're making
Yeah,
a photograph.
That's it.
It's the most original way, and like even that right there down by my if you look on the front side of that little like blur there,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
little spark, this thing right here,
Okay.
that's like a total like mess up.
Yeah.
Like that happens with the photograph.
Yeah.
As
And
it's being developed.
it's not
Yeah.
some editing,
No,
this is
it's not a filter.
this is a
Yeah.
sheet of metal the image was printed upon,
Right.
and we got this, and
So cool.
it looks like a Western record.
It does.
It does, but really, I'm repping my culture, baby.
Here's the thing, too. It also feels like a vinyl.
Yes.
It's got some heft to it. So
Yeah, well, I did the heavier
you
gram
did
weight.
the 145 or
Yes.
whatever? Yeah. So here's
Spent the
my
money on that.
here's my other thing, or my other question.
Yes.
I heard Jack White talk about this recently.
Yeah.
Because he did this whole like imploring people, bigger people with money, to start manufacturing records again. Because apparently there's
Not
like
enough.
3
No. It
plants.
took me a year and a half
That was
to
my
get this
question.
vinyl.
So
I
and
asked
a
my
half.
friends. So our vinyl is actually going to start pressing vinyl.
Good.
They have a connection for vinyl that's faster than a year. Faster than a year is like light speed.
You
Like,
can't-
you
you
can get it
cannot
done.
get it
and
done
they're getting it
faster
done in
than
6
that.
months. They're starting to press some of these artists, and they're
Wow.
gonna
and we're just going to make this the exclusive, okay? Because I'm already giving away too much information. But they are going to press what we're doing onto vinyl and get it out there into the world. So, dude. I mean, they're already a record company, right? Like, come on, like you're gonna front my record bill for me to recoup, and then you're gonna press it to vinyl. I'm sorry, but I love these guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, for real. This is like
that's what I was saying. They sound like
ticket.
They genuinely support local, independent, not even necessarily local, but like independent artists who are working, man.
Like Gems and VHS, Western as fuck. I mean, there's a new era of music rising, and it's populist based.
Yes.
And I would love to be a populist. Whether you're a politician or you're a musician, if the people are on your side, you're making moves.
Hell yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And not everybody wants to hear another beer song. Maybe they want to hear about their grandfather dying from cigarettes.
Yes.
Cowboy Killers.
Yes.
Maybe they want to hear about heartbreak at the honky tonk. Like maybe they want to hear something different than my truck and my beer. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, honestly, it's the old joke with like with rice. It's like, how can 14 million Chinese people be wrong? Rice is just the best food ever.
Exactly. If you're right, you're right.
If you're right, you're right, and everyone will get behind you.
I fucking love rice.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, if there is something, if you have a product,
yes.
For example, that's why I love that metaphor. If you have a product that people want to buy, you're in the money.
Right.
Whether I have to write books or continue to write music, I mean, I'm considering going down next year and writing for Major Bob and Music Row, and I want to write with them.
Yeah.
I really do. They've offered me a job. It's because I'm already on a publishing company. Like I would, if I got to go down there and write songs, whatever.
You'll love that still.
I love it. Let me make sure get this on silent here because my band's texting me.
You're all good.
And I'll play you a new song. How's
Let's
that?
do it, dude. Let's do that.
I'm excited to hear it.
I'm so excited to hear it.
All right, let me get cozy here.
Yes.
Move this armrest here.
Also, just love the guitar,
dude. Okay, so we gotta say something about it.
Yeah,
we have to plug Gibson.
Yes.
Gibson is still one of the greatest companies on earth.
So true.
Greatest American guitar manufacturer probably ever.
You're making the PRS people mad, but yes, I agree with you.
So this is an SJ200. I went viral on TikTok for the R vinyl stuff.
Yes.
Playing an SJ200.
Yes.
That was a vintage one from the 1940s.
So is that the one that has like the...
That was vintage from the 40s? Dude.
They had to sign like a waiver to let them take it out of the building.
That sounds right.
Holy shit.
Because I said that's what I requested. I said, for the program, can we do an SJ200? And he said, well, it's within the budget. We'll put it in your recoup fee. We're going to rent the guitar.
So the Hot Nights cover you did with the baby blue and the Jaguar
that's an EJ200.
Yeah, so it's an EJ. Yeah. So what was that one you owned?
I own that.
Okay.
That one's a custom. My buddy.
I was about to say.
Yeah, my buddy Chris Plank did it. He works for Casey Musgraves, and he goes on tour with her all the time. He's her guitar tech.
There you go.
And so,
that makes sense. I've probably met him, honestly.
He's done a lot of Casey's guitars. Like, you'll see the guitars she's playing.
Yeah.
And he's done all her setups, and he's really talented. He'll do these kind of flamboyant pick guards.
Yeah.
And so we decided to do that with that guitar because it was so beaten up. I had it since I was 15. We needed like a remodel. And so we painted it white and baby blue on the sides because I wanted to like robin egg blue.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And there's a Mercedes-Benz ashtray in it. From the old Mercedes-Benz I had when I first moved here. And I used to drive that car like 130 miles an hour, dog. That thing would rip. When the engine block went out on it, like the engine block cracked because it was super old. I got it pretty cheap. I got it pretty cheap. Engine block cracked on me, and they were like, "Bro, it's like total. Like, it's worth like $500 now."
Yeah, you can't.
And I was like, "Wow!" But I also got it cheap, but I drove the shit out of it. I love working on cars too. I work on my own truck and all that. And so right before I took it to the place to get it crushed, and I said, I didn't tell him. I just took the ashtray.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna keep this.
There will be a memento
for some reason. I didn't know it was gonna go in the guitar. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm taking the ashtray.
Yeah.
I love this car. And it would even pick up 80s stations better.
Yeah.
Because it was from the 80s.
Right, yeah.
It was from the 80s.
Right.
I don't know. It was like some spiritual about
it,
bro. But like I would turn into like an 80s station and be playing like 80s rock and shit, like 80s pop.
and it would be crystal clear.
Everything else was fuzzy.
I swear that's a real thing because AM was so much more popular back then.
Yeah.
You could actually pick up like. No,
it was like the radio was like used to it or something.
My first car was a 1984 Buick Riata, and it was the exact same way. You could not get modern stations for shit, but weird. Anything older, like anything that had been around since like the 90s or 2000s.
So weird. I never understood that, but we got. It's weird, isn't it? And then we got the ashtray and we put it into the EJ so that like I could be smoking smoke and like ash in my guitar.
Dude, that's fucking sick.
But the only downside was the only like design flaw was like, you know, if you put your cigarette right here, it's like in your nose. It's like the smoke's going into your face as you're playing. But we use it, man. It's super silly. And you're crying. You're bro, so silly, bro. She's still in tune. All right. Yeah, this one's called "Do You Still Love Me," and it's coming out.
We're excited.
I feel like that one's gonna hit, man.
Yeah.
Do you still love me?
You ever hear that meme? I'm gonna come. it's coming out. It's coming out, folks. You pick me up at the Greyhound station. I was just waiting on a park bench in Alabama, watching the whole world pass me by. Something's just different and I can taste it. Maybe it's you, maybe it's me, or maybe it's just time. Oh honey, I do still love you, but something ain't right. Do you still love me? Do you still love me? I walk inside the door, but it ain't on no more. My cold feet on this floor, they match my aching heart. I'm hungry for your touch, and I'm dying for your love. I'm like a morning dove that's lost its lover. Do you even care? You just look at me and stare. You stare right through me. I'm a ghost in my own house, so where do I go now if even you won't hold me? Do you still love me? Do you still love me? Oh, because time takes no prisoners, 'cause the blinds on these lovers, you know time like no other. It washes lovers and kingdoms away. I'll ask you one more time, baby. Do you still love me? Do you still love me?
Gosh, damn,
Dude, that was awesome.
Fucking Christ.
That was so good.
You gotta clip that out and put it on YouTube. I don't care.
We're going to.
I recorded you from this angle too.
Good,
Man.
yeah.
That was
clip it out, do what you want with it, man.
Yeah.
But no, that's a very special song to me. I've been singing that around campfires for like 3 or 4 years. It's not new.
What is this chord shape that you were doing? The first one. Yeah, that one. So that's a G, obviously.
So this is I'm doing a G. I'm doing a C with a G on it.
Yeah.
So it looks like a G.
Looks like a G.
It's a C though. It's oriented as a C. You're putting that extra G on top there. And I learned it from John Mayer. Like
that sounds right. Okay, so then
you're a John Mayer fan?
Oh yeah.
So
He'll play with his thumb a lot.
Yeah, yes, it's the hardest thing to get a hold of.
I've learned it's like if you want to play an act.
Yeah.
You know, for Cowboy Killers, like
so
I'll play
better.
Cowboy Killers like you know, like this.
Yeah.
That's my F.
Dude. What's the fullest sounding F you can possibly have?
We just want to give it 2 songs?
Dude, please.
Sure.
All right, let's just do one more.
So is the other one a D then?
So
with the first chord? Yeah, that one. What is that?
Walk inside the door. So that's a G.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm strangling it as well.
Yep.
So it's a G bar chord.
Yeah, it's a G bar chord.
I'm strangling
But you're playing it with the thumb.
because it's easier.
Yeah,
Dude.
I get it.
It's
That's
easier
smart.
because
It's smart.
like when you play bar
That's
chords,
smart.
you're pinching this muscle back here.
Yep.
But if you just strangle it right there,
Yeah.
you know. But I'm gonna do Cowboy Killers for you guys. really quick.
Dude, I'm so glad.
And then we're
Love
on the
Cowboy
way, you
Killers.
know, because I'm in the mood to play a little music.
Good.
I am gonna need my lyrics, but we're gonna do it.
That's
you
okay.
being a John Mayer fan alone fucking really amps me up because I genuinely
He's
believe
so good.
John Mayer is the greatest living artist alive,
I mean,
in my opinion. Guitar wise, like,
yes,
he's
100%.
so universal, dude. Whether
Derek
it's blues,
Trucks is the
whether
best guitar player alive.
Chill out.
You're probably right.
Oh,
I'm sorry. He can make a guitar sound like an old lady.
Yes.
And so that's pretty special. But I think we're actually gonna rehash Cowboy Killers for the. She wondered if those cigarettes were worth the time. She wished she had the man that she adored right by her side. Years went by like shooting stars, and you think you'll live forever. Burning time just like cigarettes, losing breath and feeling weather. And feeling weather. Sometimes he drink and smoke just to cover up the pain. Saw things as a boy that a boy should never see. World was like a powder keg, his life was like a dream. But when life was just too much, he'd say, at least you still love me. At least you still love me. Those cowboy killers weren't worth the time. Those cowboy killers weren't worth the time. Cowboy killers weren't worth the time. Those cowboy killers weren't worth the time. Smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee on the porch. Left behind his grandkids and the girl that he adored. His life was full of splendor, but he cut it way too short. Died at 65, smoking cigarettes out on the floor. Those cowboy killers weren't worth the time. Those cowboy killers weren't worth the time. Cowboy killers weren't worth the time. Those cowboy killers weren't worth the time. She wished she had him back as she speaks with teary eyes, telling me to quit them cigarettes. My girl wants me by her side. My girl wants me by her side. Those cowboy killers weren't worth the time. Those cowboy killers weren't worth the time. Cowboy killers weren't worth the time. Those cowboy killers weren't worth the
Your vocals are so nice.
Impressive, honest to God.
Oh, well, to listen to it in person is just really nice.
Ain't no auto-tune there, maybe.
Well, I mean, auto-tune kills records in my opinion, but like you have such a great raw timbre to your voice that like I wouldn't want production or effects to muddy what's going on naturally.
Yeah, we've accepted a lot of flaws in my music career. We would rather have the take,
yes,
and have it be a little weird here and there.
It gives it the authenticity.
Yeah.
It gives you exactly what it's made of.
It's got a little pain, which is the right thing. Yeah, I think.
Sometimes your voice breaks. Sometimes you're a little sad, and you can't. I mean, there's times where you can hear in my voice where I'm like trying not to cry, and that's real, man.
But you have such a great mix.
My G, you guys are too nice.
You literally like you transition at the same volume, which is always my tell for like a great singer. It's like if you can transition
volume control.
Yes,
that's time being in front of a microphone.
Yes,
and
but
knowing
it's so
volume control.
important.
Yeah,
so
really
important.
Yeah, I'm so at the point where I gotta like pull away.
Yeah,
at the high parts, I gotta like.
It's so fun, man.
Well,
it's so fun. Well, it's been so much fun with you guys.
Absolutely, man. Dude, you have no. Honest to God, man, it's not blowing smoke. We are extremely happy to have you on.
It was just great to have a conversation with you.
Absolutely.
I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave. That's why it was so fun.
We'll do it again, man.
We'll do it again.
We'll do it again.
This is just
buy the record, folks.
Shameless advertising. You should buy the record for sure.
Arnold Schwarzenegger said, "Be great."
Be great.
But you have to advertise.
All right. Well, this has been
Just
After
Midnight
with Dylan Schmucker. Thank you so much, Smucker.
He went German on me. I like it.
That's
the OG
Schmucker. With Dylan Smucker. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
After Midnight.